A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
And now, the life of Mary Sothern. Today, the whole town of Sanders is tense with undercurrents. Last night, the mill meeting was called off because an insufficient number of men showed up. This morning, each man is learning that, surprisingly enough, his neighbor wasn't at the meeting for practically the same reason that kept him at home. Some insignificant task or duty that his wife had suddenly decided must be done. The men are slowly starting to realize that this wasn't coincidence. The women wanted to stop that meeting. Max, whom they had intended to vote out of office, arrived late and left. It was about 10:30 the following morning. Mr. Proust was calling on Davis at his office in the bank. Max's office, which adjoins Davis's, is still empty.
Well, Davis, I found out what happened last night.
You have?
Yes, I have. If you'd been on your toes, it never would have happened.
Proust, would you mind being a little more explicit? You burst in here to throw the blame in my face without explaining why.
I'll tell you why, and I'll tell you who prevented that meeting. The women in this town were responsible. Do you understand that? The women.
Ridiculous. I don't believe it.
Oh, you don't, eh? Then perhaps you've uncovered a reason.
Well, it's still early in the day. I haven't had the opportunity.
I see.
But I do know women couldn't possibly have been responsible for the failure of anything as important as last night's meeting.
Well, you've another no coming. Those women got together and thought of individual excuses to keep their husbands at home.
Impossible.
Half of the men stayed away, didn't they?
Yes, but...
That was the but. The men didn't know they were being fooled until they met this morning at the mill.
If that's the truth, Proust, someone was behind the idea.
No, you really think so?
Sarcasm isn't necessary, Proust. I realize I was stating a fact that we both recognize. But if we expect to get anywhere with the control of this town, we'll have to cooperate. Lately, every time we meet, you've had a chip on your shoulder.
Well, I should think I've had reasons. After all, you're closer to the mill than I am. It's up to you to know what's going on.
How could I know about a thing like this? Probably Max Sanders made a house-to-house canvass of the women.
I don't think that's what happened. I'll bet his wife that Mary Sothern is back of this.
Stay, Proust. Listen a minute. Regardless of who's behind it, we're better off than we were before.
How do you figure that?
The men will be furious when they all realize it was a frame-up. It'll strengthen our case against Max Sanders 1,000%.
Say, now wait a minute. You may have something there at that. If we can get the news around that it was Mary Sothern's fault, Max Sanders hasn't a chance in a million of keeping his position when they hold another meeting.
And we'll see to it that they hold one as soon as possible.
Certainly. Now, by the way, have you seen our man this morning?
No, I haven't. I'm going to call his secretary in here, see if she's heard from him. Miss Bloomberg, will you come in a moment, please?
Good idea. She'll know if anyone does.
Did you call, Mr. Davis?
Yes, I did. Is Mr. Sanders in his office?
No, not yet. I'm waiting for him.
Late, isn't he?
Yes, the poor man probably overslept. He's been so busy lately.
Indeed.
Town business, Miss Bloomberg?
Oh, yes. Mr. Sanders has closed a wonderful deal.
He's closed it.
Well, practically. Why, I know he doesn't mind if I tell you, because he's giving it out to the newspapers today.
You mean the Barton proposition?
Uh-huh. Mr. Barton decided to build his new plant in Sanders.
He didn't tell me.
Well, I guess he left that for Mr. Sanders to do. We've handled all the business, you know.
Everything is set?
Almost. Mr. Barton will be here at 4 today with the papers.
Well, I can't breathe.
Mr. Bruce, is anything wrong? May I get you a drink?
No, I'm all right.
Is there anything else you wanted of me, Mr. Davis?
No, not a thing. You may go.
Thank you.
Do you hear? Do you hear what she said? That Tilly Sanders got the jump on us. He's closed the bargain proposition.
This is awful. It'll kill our chances of getting him out of office. Why, the people will be actually grateful to
You
him.
should never have allowed this to happen. You were right here in the office beside him.
Well, you had a better chance than I did. You had Jeffrey Barton as a guest in your home.
Oh, just one evening. I didn't have the opportunity to accomplish anything.
Well, it's done now. We're almost done. The man will be here at 4.
Well, can't we keep him in Chicago? Can't we do something?
Now, you're getting excited again. If he made an appointment to be here at 4, he'll be here. It's impossible to stop him.
Nothing is impossible. And I'd do anything to keep him away. Do you understand? Anything!
Yours of the 14th received.
Have you gone nuts, Miss Wilbur?
Oh, Mr. Sanders, I'm so glad to see you. I was just starting to worry you were so late.
Well, I overslept. I didn't get to bed until 3.
What? Mr. Sanders, what happened?
Oh, I get Madonna's mix-ups. Daddy Stratford hurt his foot, or said that he did, and I had to go collect him from someplace near Boggs Hollow.
Well, gracious, that didn't take until 3 this morning.
Oh, yeah, it did, yeah. We had Rube's taxi.
Well, that explains it.
Yeah, I got sore once and left him on the road while I hitched in on a truck. And then I got kind of soft and had a couple of guys drive me back out to give him a lift.
Evidently, they needed it.
Boy, and how. One tire was flat and the spare was like a sieve.
Rube certainly needs a new cab.
Yeah, he sure does.
That baby, as he calls it, must be awfully old.
Old? Boy, baby is a grandmother.
Oh, Mr. Sanders, really, you say the funniest thing.
Oh, yeah? Well, listen, when I came in, it sounded as if someone else had cracked funny. You were giggling all over that typewriter.
Well, I was laughing about Mr. Proust and Mr. Davis.
Yeah?
They were so funny when I told them.
You told them? Told them what?
Well, about Barton closing the factory proposition. I thought Gerald Proust was going to have a stroke.
Say, that must have been good. Did Pussyfoot Davis turn green, too?
Did he? They were practically holding each other up when I walked out of the office.
Boy, I should have been here. I'd have got a laugh coming from those guys.
You certainly have. After the nasty way they treated you and Mrs. Sanders.
Yeah, that's what makes me sore. I can take it, but when they start picking on Mary, boy, I could commit mayhem.
Well, your worries will be over once you have some new business in this town. That's what the people need.
Yep. Say, I've got great plans. After 4 o'clock, I'll be able to put them into action.
Oh, my. It'll be just like old times for all of us to be busy again.
Oh, say, maybe my pals next door calling to offer their congratulations. Huh?
I doubt it.
Oh, hello, girlie. Max Sanders in?
What was it you wished to see him about?
Yeah, I'm here. Come on in.
The master's voice.
You want to see me?
Yes, Mr. Sanders. I'm Bob Taps of the Sanders Sentinel.
Oh, hi, Taps. Didn't I meet you before?
Sure, several times.
Oh, yeah, sure. I remember your face. Pull up a chair and sit down.
Oh, thanks.
Smoke? Have a cigar?
Oh, no, thanks.
Well, what's on your mind, pal?
Well, I'm looking for a little information. There's been a lot going on in town lately.
You're telling me.
Yeah, there have been some conflicting stories about the mill meeting last night. Do you know why so many of the men weren't there to vote?
No, I haven't the slightest idea. Nor, but it sure was a swell break for me.
Yeah, it was. You probably wouldn't be town manager this morning if the men had voted.
Don't I know it?
Aren't you concerned about a future meeting?
No, because I think I got enough to offer the people so as they'll want to keep me where I am.
Oh, you're referring to the new factory that there's been talk about?
That's the dish.
Well, that's exactly the news I'm looking for.
Yeah?
This whole deal has been kept rather quiet, you know. The majority of the people don't know anything about it.
Well, I didn't want to talk about something that I wasn't sure that I could deliver.
And you're sure now?
Well, darn near. I'll tell you what, pal. You come back about 5 o'clock, and then I'll have all the dope.
Well, I'd like it now. I want to make the afternoon edition.
No, can do. No, I don't want to talk until I have it in black and white. And that'll be at 4 this afternoon.
What will the men do when they hear that Mary Sothern was responsible for the postponement of the meeting? Will they be angry enough to start trouble? Or will Barton's arrival at 4 o'clock solve all of Mary and Max's problems?
Described in future tense. Dimension Can you predict what will come in 100 years? Or in 10? Or in the next minute? Some people think they can. Nuclear scientists, mathematicians, astronomers, biologists. They'll predict the shape of the future. Why? Because they make the future. Because they see beyond the known dimensions of time and space into the unknown. Dimension X. It was in the year of 1982 that spacemen first discovered the Great Galactic Barrier. In the past 10 years, rocket travel to the moon and the nearer planets had become commonplace. And then men fixed their sights on a more distant star, the remote planet known as Volta. 5 exploratory ships went out, and none came back, each in turn disappearing mysteriously at the same vanishing point, at an invisible wall somewhere in the vast outer reaches that became known as the wrecker of spaceships, the Galactic Reef. And yet the explorers refused to admit defeat. It was on June the 2nd, 1987, that the rocket Star Cloud made ready for takeoff, the 6th to attempt to crack the barrier and win through to Volta.
Condition green. 2 minutes.
Captain, I don't suppose you'll want the ship's doctor up here on the bridge during Glasgow.
I think not, Smitty.
All right, then. I'll be in the sick bay counting vitamin pills if you need me. Good luck, Lewis.
Thank you, Smitty. Lieutenant Collier.
Yes, sir.
You're relieved. You better get down to navigation control and take over.
Yes, sir.
Oh, Lieutenant.
Yes, sir?
We've never flown together before. This is your first flight in a space vessel as big as the Star Cloud, isn't it?
Yes, sir. But I was trained in oversized jobs at the Naval Academy.
Well, if you're half as good a navigator as your father was, you'll do fine.
Thank you, sir. You were old shipmates, weren't you?
Old shipmates. I served under him in the first rocket that ever got back to its base in one piece. We flew that mission in a tin can not much better than a primitive guided missile. I almost went along on the last trip your father made to the barrier. Too bad about that.
Yes, sir.
Now, that's all, Collier. I'll bus you when you get down to nav control. Lieutenant Paulson.
Yes, sir.
Get me ground control tower on the radio. I want to talk to Colonel Harrison.
Sparks has the circuit up now, Captain. Go ahead, sir. I patched in our bridge speaker.
Colonel Harrison?
Yes, Captain?
We're standing by for takeoff in 60 seconds.
Good. The field is cleared of all personnel. We'll try to reestablish radio contact immediately after takeoff. In any event, there'll be a 24-hour ground monitor.
Fine.
Good luck. I hope you make it.
Thank you. Bridge to navigation control.
Nav control. Collier.
Ready, Lieutenant?
We're ready, Captain. The course is in the integrator for takeoff at 1200 hours.
All right. Stand by for blastoff. Bridge to engine room. Fire up your rocket chambers. Take off at exactly 1200 hours. I'll read you off. 20 seconds. 19, 18, 17, 16. Condition red. Hold it. We will follow orders. Don't turn in that alarm.
We uncovered a stowaway, sir.
Stowaway, where, Masters?
Hiding in 6th Bay. Dr. Smithson found him.
Have him brought up to the bridge. Engine room, kill your rockets and stand by.
Orson, this is Colonel Harrison in ground control. What's holding you up?
Trouble.
What's the matter with you?
What's the matter with you? There's a stowaway aboard.
Stowaway?
Yes, I thought your men were supposed to police this base. What's the matter with you?
All right, Captain, take it easy.
You know what this delay can do to us, don't you? 1 minute later, takeoff can throw us 1,000,000 miles off course. We'll have to reintegrate the whole works.
Well, look, how long do you think it'll take?
Don't Charlie, for a while. I'm busy. Stupid idiots.
Captain Thornton.
Oh, come in, Smitty.
Here's your stove.
I'll court-martial the... Charlie.
Can you use a good radio man, Skipper?
See, you two have met.
Met? The Skipper and me made 50 trips to the moon together. Didn't we, Captain?
Charlie, if you wanted to come along, why didn't you volunteer?
I did, Skipper. They turned me down.
What's wrong with you?
Acceleration bends.
Oh.
They said my arteries wouldn't stand another trip.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
But they're wrong, sir. I got one more good trip in me. Now, listen, Captain. You know these green kids don't know the first thing about space radio operations. You put a man like me on, I'll be getting you a bedtime story from Mars.
Now, listen, Charlie, you know the regulations as well as I do. I can't take you much as I'd like to.
Colonel Harrison will murder me for this.
Oh. I'm sorry, Charlie. I'll have to put you aground. I'll tell you what. I'll ask Harrison to put you on as ground radio contact. It'll seem as if you were right here with us.
He won't do it, sir.
He'd better, or I'll have him busted to courtroom for letting you sneak aboard. Now, you'd better be off, Charlie. Masters.
Yes, sir.
I'm sending this man aground. Give him time to clear the launching platform.
Yes, sir.
So long, Charlie. I'm really sorry.
Good luck, Skipper.
I thought you were going to have him drawn and quartered.
If it'd been anybody else, I would have, Smitty. But Charlie, well, he's kind of special. Been with me since my first command, when Giller run to the moon. If he wanted to come along this time, well, it's only through loyalty to me.
You know, Lewis, I didn't realize it before, but you're almost human.
Bilge. Navigation, Lieutenant Collier, you there?
Nav control, Collier.
Lieutenant, how badly are we fouled up? Can you recalculate the course, or shall I cancel the takeoff?
I've already plotted a new course on the integrator, sir.
Good.
Can we take off in exactly 2 minutes?
2 minutes?
Yes, sir. If we can, all we need to correct is for only a 1-degree deflection. I can do that before we breach the stratosphere.
That's quick work. Are you sure?
Positive, sir.
Well, all right, Collier. I'm putting it in your hands. We'll blast off on your signal.
Lewis, isn't that a lot of responsibility for a young green officer?
Yes, but if he can't do his job, I'd rather find out now than at the galactic barrier. Bridge to engine room. Prepare to blast off on navigator signal. How are we doing, Collier?
Coming on the bearing, sir.
4,
3, 2, 0. We've intersected the course vector.
Good work, Collier.
The course is corrected, sir. Ready to go into atomic overdrive anytime you say.
All right, stand by. Now hear this. Prepare for maximum acceleration. Bridge to engine room. Kill your rockets.
Rockets out.
Fire up number 1 cyclotron.
Number 1 ready.
Fire up number 2.
Number 2 ready.
Withdraw your dampening rods.
Aye. Fission chamber ready. Blast tubes cleared. All generators operating at capacity, sir.
Right. Go into overdrive on the count of 0.
5 seconds, Captain.
3, 2, 1, 0. How are we doing, Collier?
On course, sir. She's running hot and true.
Well, my compliments, Lieutenant.
Thank you, sir.
This job would have done your father credit. He was one of the best navigation officers I ever saw.
Thanks, sir.
Now start your gyros and put her on robot control. The bridge is yours, Mr. Collier. If you need me, I'll be in Dr. Smithson's office.
Yes, sir.
I see you got us off the ground.
You can thank young Collier for that. Chip off the old block.
You knew his father?
Matter of fact, I knew him very well. First-rate spaceman.
Is he the one who...
Yes. He was lost in the galactic barrier on the second ship we sent out to Volta.
Lewis, just what do you think this galactic barrier is?
Oh, your guess is as good as mine, Doc. All I know is that 5 ships have gone into it. None of them have come back out.
How about Miss Strovik's theory that it's a time warp in space, that the ships reach it and slip into another dimension?
Rubbish. My theory is that the galactic barrier is nothing more than a radioactive layer of some kind.
What makes you say that?
Well, we know that radar signals bounce off it like they were hitting an invisible glass wall. And we know that it destroys our ships and crews in some way. There's no other logical explanation.
What makes you think we can get through it, Lewis?
Because we're ready for it. The others weren't. The entire hull is completely shielded with lead. We can crack through any radioactive cloud ever detected. Besides, we're equipped with some new UHF radio devices that should enable us to maintain radio contact with Earth. Nothing can happen. Absolutely nothing.
Who are you trying to convince?
Myself, I suppose.
Lewis, you've had your share of glory. First skipper to reach the moon back in 1962. You could have retired. Why are you risking this trip?
Because 5 ships are missing. And men like Prentice and Margetson and young Collier's father. I'm tired of seeing good men fed into that meat chopper.
Then why are we going?
We haven't any choice, Smitty. We're in a race, the kind of race where men and ships are expendable. According to Interspace Code, the first nation to reach Volta can claim it.
Personally, I want no part of it.
Doc, there are a dozen nations who feel very differently about that.
I know. You're right, of course. Well, at least it won't be boring. I'll have to play physician morale builder and mother substitute for 112 slightly nervous men.
Your morale doesn't sound too good, Doc.
As morale officer, I can state without fear of contradiction, it is terrible. And something tells me that as we approach that galactic barrier, I'm not going to be alone.
Hello, Earth. Hello, Earth. Captain Thorson of the Star Cloud calling Earth. Star Cloud to Earth. Can you read me?
Hello, Star Cloud. Hi, Captain.
Charlie. Well, I see they haven't court-martialed you yet.
Oh, sir. Thanks to you.
That's good to hear you. You can read us the funny papers on Sunday morning.
Right.
How's our signal?
Strong. Clears the bell.
Well, here's our log report for Colonel Harrison. Ready?
Shoot.
June 2nd, 1987. 4 weeks out from Earth. Running true, no radiation. Operation normal. Still making our approach to the galactic barrier. That's all, Charlie. See you later.
Good luck, Captain. I sure wish I was with you.
How's the morale, Smitty?
Well, the men know we're getting closer to the barrier. They're beginning to show a little tension, Lewis.
How's their physical condition? Any sickness?
About half the crew has come down with space flu.
I was afraid of that. Bad?
Oh, same as usual. Lips and hands with a bluish cast. Eyes are sensitive to infrareds.
I don't know. When I first started flying these tin cans, nobody ever heard of space blues.
There's a theory it's caused by the terrific acceleration of the atomic overdrive. The change in gravity affects the circulation.
What do you think?
Oh, I think it's psychosomatic. I've noticed that the same men who get space blues under tension on a ship tend to get blue coloration back on Earth when they're upset. I guess it's an occupational disease of space navigators.
You think it's just nerves, then?
I don't know. Young Collier's got a bad case. Yes, I think it's tension from overwork.
Well, maybe you need some vitamins.
Lewis, when will you realize that vitamins are not a panacea for all the troubles of mankind?
Sir, I understand you've relieved me from duty.
Dr. Smithson says you aren't looking very well, Collier. I'm just giving you a rest.
But, sir, I feel perfectly able to continue.
Your lips are as blue as Minnetonka.
Captain, I'd like to remain at my post.
Now, don't be so foolhardy, Lieutenant.
I'm not being foolhardy, sir. You see, I have a special personal reason for wanting this expedition to reach Volta.
Oh, your father?
Yes, sir, my father.
You think he might still be alive?
Sir, I have to find out what happened.
I think I understand. Very well, Collier. Report back to duty.
Paulson. We're getting a Block 5 radar bounce now, sir. Coming off the barrier almost as fast as we send it out.
What's the interval?
0.3 of a second. Shortening steadily. This rate will hit the wall in the next few minutes.
All right. Alert the crew. Sound general quarters.
Now hear this. Condition red. We are now approaching the galactic barrier. All hands to stations. All radiation detectors to be fully manned. Full security will prevail until further notice. That is all.
Paulson.
Aye, sir.
Radar bounce is up to +6. We better try to make final contact with Earth. Is Spark still trying to raise the base?
Yes, sir, but he's not having much luck. Seems to be some interference. Well, that's the radio room now. Yes? You've got him? Well, cut in on the bridge speaker. The captain will take it from here.
Hello, Star Cloud to Earth. Can you hear me, Earth?
Hello, Skipper. I can barely read you. We're getting heavy static from sunspots.
That's not sunspots. We're right on the galactic barrier. Getting a +7 radar bounce. Expect to hit the barrier almost any second now.
Good luck, Skipper.
Look, Charlie, stick with us, will you? We're switching to the automatic center now so you can track us in.
Okay.
If we crack the barrier and come through still in one piece, I'll try to get back to you on the high-frequency band.
Gotcha, Skipper. Don't worry. I'll be waiting.
So long, Charlie.
So long, Starcloud.
We must be getting awfully close now, Captain. Heck was bouncing back so fast, it's almost beating the signal.
Well, when they coincide, hold on to your hat. That's when we run into the wall.
Any second.
Hold on.
Here goes nothing.
Here it comes. What? Nothing happened.
We made it, Captain. No radiation, no time warp, no nothing. The crew's gone crazy, sir.
They earned it. Hey, Doc, can you bring us a few bottles of snake bite serum for medicinal purposes?
I sure can, Lou.
This calls for a celebration. How's your morale now?
Couldn't be better. How's yours?
Couldn't be better. Hey, what the...
Condition red. Condition red. Radiation detected. Condition red. Radiation detected.
Holy mackerel. Look at the needle on that indicator.
Paulson.
I see it, Captain. Picking up radiation like crazy.
What's it like?
It's a strong impulse.
What kind?
I don't know, sir. Too long for a cosmic ray and too short for UHF. The ship's lousy with it.
Man your battle stations!
Paulson, track it down. Triangulate it and make it fast. I want a directional fit.
Yes, sir.
Engine room.
Yes, sir.
We're picking up radioactivity. Is it the fission chambers?
No leak here, sir.
I'll check your gauges.
Nothing here, Captain. Must be coming from outside.
Damage control.
Yes, sir.
Is radiation penetrating the lead field?
Haven't found anything yet, sir.
Well, keep at it. Paulson, how are you doing?
I've got it fixed, Captain.
What is it?
I'll have to recheck my figures.
Hurry up.
The angle is correct.
Come on, man, for Pete's sake, what's the radiation from?
It's coming from inside the ship.
That's impossible.
Oh, sir, I've checked it twice.
Well, it's got to be the engines.
If it is, we're finished.
Engine room.
Yes, sir.
That radiation must be in the overdrive pile.
No, sir. It isn't here, sir.
Are you, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right, keep checking. Well, only one thing left to do. Paulson, get a Geiger counter. We're going to start combing this ship inch by inch.
Yes, sir.
Turn it on.
Yes, sir. Ready, Captain.
We'll check the atomic guns first. Come on. We'll cut through the officers' quarters to ordnance.
Yes, sir.
Through here.
Wait a minute, sir.
Huh? What is it?
The signal's weaker now.
Yeah. Let's go back. Hold it. Seems strongest right about here.
Doesn't make sense.
Whose cabin is this?
Lieutenant Collins.
Oh, here.
Oh, he's down in nav control, sir.
We'll try the door.
It's not locked, sir. Yes, it's in here, all right. Listen to that counter. It's strongest over here.
Open that wall cabinet.
It's locked, sir.
I'll smash it. Shut off the Geiger counter. Well, what do you make of this, Paulson?
Well, it looks like some sort of portable transmitter, sir. Must be foreign manufacture. Don't recognize the calibration symbols at all. I've never seen anything like it.
Which raises a small question. What is Lieutenant Collier doing with a transmitter in his cabin?
I don't know, sir.
Well, I intend to find out, Paulson. Get down to nav control and bring Collier up to the bridge on the double.
Hadn't we better find some way to shut this thing off first?
I know a way. Lieutenant Collier, I'm going to ask a few simple questions.
Yes, sir.
And I want a few simple answers.
Yes, sir.
What were you doing with the transmitter in your cabin?
Transmitter, Captain.
You know nothing about it?
No, sir, I don't.
Do you recognize these calibration symbols?
No, sir.
Well, can you think of how it might have been placed in your cabin without your knowing?
No, sir, unless someone came in while I was on duty.
Well, would that have been possible?
Well, I suppose so. Well, if someone had a key.
I found your cabin door unlocked.
I meant a key to the wall cabinet.
I didn't say the wall cabinet.
Oh, what? Well, sir, I...
You what, Lieutenant? How could you have known it was in the wall cabinet?
Well, I just assumed.
Lieutenant Collier, I find it hard to believe you would lie. Having known and respected your father and having observed the way you handled your job. However, I intend to get to the root of this thing. May I have your wristwatch, Lieutenant?
Sir?
Your wristwatch.
Here you are, sir.
Paulson, turn on that Geiger counter.
Yes, sir.
Now hold this watch next to it.
Yes, sir.
That's all. Lieutenant, if you hadn't any close contact with that transmitter, how do you explain the radioactivity of this watch?
Well, I don't, sir.
I think you'd better. To whom were you sending those signals?
Condition red. Condition red.
There's your answer, Captain.
What is this, Collier?
Alien spaceship approaching. Alien spaceship approaching.
Collier, who's aboard that ship? All right, now talk.
Very well, Captain. My mission seems completed.
Your mission? Are you admitting that you're an agent of a foreign power?
I am stating it.
What nation?
No nation, Captain.
What?
I am an agent of the Voltan government.
The what?
The government of the planet of Voltan.
Are you crazy?
Are you so stupid that you think your people are the only ones who can invade another planet?
Lieutenant, what do you mean?
We've had agents operating on Earth since 1945.
I don't believe you.
What do you think happened to those 5 ships, Captain? Where do you suppose we got our information? Your language, your culture, family background.
Your appearance, you look like...
Like Commander Collier? Is that so surprising, Captain? We had a living model.
I ought to kill you.
That would be very foolish, Captain. I would advise you to surrender without delay.
Alien ship now coming into ordnance range.
I'll deal with you later, Collier. Paulson.
Yes, sir.
Put this man in irons and take him away.
Don't worry, sir. We'll take good care of him.
Thunder, Ruston.
Gunnery.
Atkinson.
What's the range?
10,000 meters. They're closing fast.
What's your guns on radar tracking?
Tracking. Coming on the bearing.
Fire. Fire, Richardson. Did you hear me? Fire! What's the matter down there? Did you hear me? Richardson, answer me! What? Who?
It's no use to shout, Captain.
Collier. How did you get loose? Where's Paulson?
Lieutenant Paulson is dead.
All stations, Lieutenant Collier has escaped. Seize him, men!
Don't waste your breath, Captain. Your men can't hear you.
What?
Those still alive are my men.
You're lying.
No, Captain. Every ship that has ever left Earth was controlled by a Voltaire crew.
That's impossible. Those were hand-picked men.
Hand-picked by us.
I don't believe you.
Then why not call for help?
Carpenter, Robinson, Haley, report. Carpenter. Robinson. Haley. Wait. Report.
You see, Captain, it is quite useless. The Star Cloud will be taken to Volta for, shall we say, further experimentation.
I see. Of course, there's one thing you haven't counted on.
And just what is that, Captain?
This...
is, Carpenter? They can't all be dead. There must be one alive. Smitty! Dr. Smithson! Smitty! Oh, Smitty. What have they done to you?
Lewis.
Those dirty... don't talk.
I must lean closer. Not much time. Lewis, space blues.
Space blues? What is it, Smitty? What are you trying to tell me?
All men with space blues. Voltans.
Here, let me help you.
No, Lewis. Get message back to Earth. Voltan, 5th column. Watch out for space blues.
Smitty.
Captain Thorson, you can't hide from us now. Come back to the bridge and surrender, or my men will come and get you. Oh, yeah? Captain Thorson, you can't come...
Hello. Star Cloud calling Earth. Please, God, let me through before it's too late. Hello. Star Cloud to Earth. Come in, please. Come in, please.
Hello? Skipper, is that you? It's, coming in a little louder now, Skip. Keep sending.
Thank God, Charlie. Now listen to me. Not much time. Get word to Colonel Harrison. Crew, mutiny. Most of crew members, Voltans.
What?
Voltans.
Spell that.
V-O-L...
Voltans?
That's right. They're from the planet Volta.
Skipper, are you all right?
Look, Charlie, this is serious. They'll be here any second. Now listen, they have a 5th column on Earth. They're planning to invade you.
You don't mean it.
Of course I mean it. Now tell Harrison. Posing as humans, you can detect them by space blues. You got that? Only Voltans get space blues. Charlie, can you hear me?
Space blue. I get you.
That's right, you Charlie. It's the thing. Now you warn everybody.
Captain?
They're off the door. Come on, Charlie.
Captain Thorson. Hello. Hello, Star Cloud. Come in.
What's the trouble, Sergeant?
I was just trying to raise the Star Cloud, Colonel.
Had any luck?
No, sir. No contact.
No contact?
No, sir.
Nearly an hour since they hit the galactic barrier. I don't understand why they haven't tried to get a message back.
No, sir. Neither do I.
All right. I'll take over for a while.
Yes. You do that. You go right ahead, sir.
Right. Oh, Charlie, you'd better go out and get yourself some coffee. You look a little blue around the gills.
You have just heard No Contact, an adventure in time, space, and the unknown. The world of... Next week we have a cheerful little tale that starts with the disappearance of Grant's tomb. It's about a veteran newspaper reporter and a strange little man who calls himself the world's greatest genius. You'll hear all about it next week at this same time when we present The Professor Was a Thief.
Dimension X has presented No Contact, an original story written by George Lefferts from a storyline by Lefferts and Ernest Kenoy. Featured in the cast were Louis Van Rooten as Captain Thorson, Donald Buca as Lieutenant Collier, and Cameron Prudhomme as Charlie. Your host was Norman Rose. Music by Albert Berman, engineer Bill Chambers. Dimension X is produced by William Welch and directed by Edward King. Stay tuned for the remarkable Quiz Kids on NBC.
Adventures in time and space. transcribed in future tense. Can you predict what will come in 100 years? Or in 10? Or in the next minute? Can you see beyond the known dimensions of time and space into the unknown dimension X? Today we tell you a story of America's largest city, a story that began in the bustling city room of a New York metropolitan jail.
Sit in there. Sweeney?
Listen, Pop, give me a rewrite, quick.
I'll take it.
Okay, now look. I'm up on Riverside Drive, see?
So?
So, at 12:45 today, just 3 minutes ago, Grant's tomb disappeared.
It's what?
I'm telling you, it's disappeared. It's gone.
Listen, Sweeney, get yourself to a Turkish bath. Sober up.
Pop, I swear, I'm sober as a judge. Listen to me, will you?
Just a minute. Albert,
What's up, Pop?
call the 100th Detective Precinct. Find out if anything's been reported missing.
Like what?
Like Grant's tomb. Go on, make it snappy.
Okay, Pop.
All right, Sweeney, now give it to me slow. This better not be a gag.
No gag, Pop. Now get it down. The traffic at the drive was at its noon hour peak, and the benches and structure were filled with happy, laughing people. Then, without a warning, a rumble sounded in the armed populace crowd was horrified.
Hold it, Sweeney. Well, Albert?
I don't get it. They say that Grant's tomb is gone.
Okay, call composing. Tell them to hold everything for an extra. Clear out page 1. Get going. Okay, Sweeney, now. To heck with the words, give me the garbage. What happened?
Nobody knows. There are half a dozen police cars around here staring at the place where Grant's tomb was. I was about a block away. I heard screams. I came running. It was gone. Vanished.
How many dead?
Nobody knows if anybody is dead.
We'll find out.
How can I find out when everybody that was sitting on the steps and all disappeared?
What?
They're gone.
No bodies?
No tomb, Pop. No tomb.
Okay, you hoof it back up there and get stories from some witnesses. Now call me back. Albert.
Yes, Pop.
Get Columbia University on the phone. Get a statement.
Right.
Research.
Yes, sir.
Grab an encyclopedia, see if anything like this ever happened before. Hey, Walters.
Yeah, Pop.
Call the army. Find out about secret weapons. Hello, composing. This is Pop Adderby on the city desk. Start setting up an extra. I want to hit the street in 20 minutes. Second extra in an hour with pictures. Okay, what are you waiting for? Get them rolling.
Pop. Pop.
Oh, I'm busy, Albert.
Yes, sir. Pop. Mr. Colborne wants to see you. Pronto.
Tell him I'm busy.
Well, he says to come now.
Oh, of all the flat-headed publishers to saddle a newspaper with. Okay. Sweeney calls, switch it to Colburn's office.
Okay, Pop.
Come in.
Listen, Mr. Colburn, I'm very busy now. There's an extra on the rollers.
I know. I just called composing and ordered them to stop it.
To stop it? Are you...
Adderby, you've been on the city desk of the Herald for 25 years now. Since when do you waste thousands of dollars on an April Fool issue?
April Fool? Listen, Grant's tomb is missing. Is that a story? Or am I dead from the neck up?
Did you check it?
Yes, and Sweeney...
How do you know it's true?
Well, if you...
What do you mean spreading cold terror all over town?
But Sweeney...
The devil with Sweeney. How do you know it isn't just a hallucination? Mass hypnotism, something like that.
Well, what if it is?
Adderby, if this is a farce, we'll be in Dutch, but good. Civil suits, criminal action. We're the only paper in town on the streets with an extra. The other editors don't believe this story for one instant.
It takes guts to run a paper.
Well, if that's what it takes, you've got too many. You took the authority for this without even trying to find me and get an okay.
Your father-in-law knew a story has to run while it's hot.
All right. You ran this while it was so hot, our first 10 papers drove the city into a panic. How do we know this whole thing isn't a big... Hello. Now there's Corborn. Yes, he's here. It what? Oh, well, that's fine. That's fine and dandy. You're fired. It's your star reporter, Mr. Sweeney, formerly of the Herald.
Formerly? Give me that phone. Hello, Sweeney.
Pop.
Did you get the pictures? How are things up there?
Pop.
I'll need more witnesses.
Pop.
Hey, what?
It's back.
Fine. What did you say?
It's back. Frank's tomb is back. I'm sorry.
You're sorry. All right, golden boy. Now give it to me slow. Make it sound intelligent.
It just reappeared, that's all.
What about the people who were inside?
All back. Don't remember a thing. It's just like it never happened at all. It's a miracle.
Some miracle. We got an extra on the streets with 28 types screaming that Grant's tomb has vanished, and you calmly call me up to tell me that it's back.
But it was gone. I tell you, Pop.
Sweeney.
What?
Do me a favor, will you?
Yeah, what?
Drop dead.
Well, Atterby?
Guess we'll run a retraction. Just doesn't make sense. 12 police cars saw it. We've got statements from witnesses.
I told you it was hysteria. Look at the man from Mars broadcast that Orson Welles did. 1,000 people will swear they saw the monsters.
Oh, I don't know. I'm all confused.
Well, let's look at it this way, Atterby. Maybe you've had enough.
Enough what?
You've been on the city desk 25 years now. That makes you, 55?
54. What are you driving at, Mr. Colby?
I mean, maybe you ought to retire.
Retire?
We need new people, new ideas. I've been thinking about it for some time now. With Social Security, you'd get...
About $20. Fine. Now, you listen. I brought this paper into the world, and it's going to take me out. I was on that city desk before you ever heard of a stick of type. Then you come along and marry a publisher's daughter.
That's enough.
I made a mistake, okay. Anybody can make a mistake. I still think there's something in this story. Sweeney's been around too long to blow one like this. Even when he's drunk, he's a better newspaper man than most.
I'm sorry. Effective today, you're relieved as city editor. Sanford will take over.
Sanford? Why, he's green as grass.
If you want to stay on in some minor job.
Such as?
Well, how about science editor?
Science editor.
You could have the office right next to mine. It'll pay the rent. Well?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know what I'll do. Been on the city desk so long.
Well, maybe it's too much excitement for a man your age.
Stop writing me off, will you? I'm 54. And a man at 54...
is no longer a boy.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe I am losing my grip. Got to go somewhere and think it over.
All right, Atterby. Take your time.
I'll be across the street at Burley's bar if you need me. I'll let you know before the bulldog hits the streets. Burley! Escape bar!
Yeah, Pop, yeah?
More poison.
Haven't you had enough, Pop?
Yeah, it's a solemn occasion, Burley, for the hemlock.
What's the occasion, Pop?
I am now a husband.
No.
Reduced. Humiliated.
You, Pop? Never.
Meet the new science editor of the Sunday Supplement, me. Knows much about science as J.P. Morgan knows about sharecropping.
What happened? Who did it?
You familiar with a reporter named Aloysius John Sweeney? Former friend and drinking companion of mine?
Sweeney got you busted?
The same. If that gentleman should ever by some misforgotten chance thrust his head into this bar, Burley, my friend, I personally, with these two bare hands...
Hey, Pop! Pop!
Uh-oh.
Hey, Pop, it's me.
I shall control my homicidal instinct.
Listen, Pop, I just came down from Riverside Drive.
Very daring move, Sweeney.
I brought a guy with me.
It won't help, Sweeney.
Pop, you don't understand. I found a little guy in a swallowtail coat who watched this whole thing happen. Pop. Burley, quiet! Quiet, everybody! Quiet, will you?
How do you do? Gentlemen, I can assure you my small stature belies the magnitude of my abilities.
What did you bring him for, Sweeney?
He's a genius, Pop, a full-time genius.
You betrayed me once, Sweeney. Isn't that enough? Take your little man away and don't bother me.
Your friend isn't very polite, Mr. Sweeney. Perhaps one day he will learn that even the most insignificant man has a sense of dignity and personal worth.
I apologize, Professor. I'm not so at you. It's your tomato-headed friend here. Sweeney, I ought to kill you. I ought to strangle you with my bare hands. I ought to have you run through a rotary press at low speed. Those things are too good for you.
But, Papa, look, I'm trying to tell you, the story ain't phony. It happened. Mr. Pertwee... Hannibal, tell him about it.
Gladly. My contribution has been awaiting worldwide recognition for many years now. Unfortunately, there are some who insist I am insane.
I see that.
Being small of stature, as you can see, I chose to nurse my resentment rather than to take positive measures. However, I feel now the world is ready to come to terms with Hannibal Pertwee.
Can you or can you not explain this Grant's tomb business?
Naturally. It can all be explained quite simply in terms of the Pertwee system of infinite acceleration and transportational facilitation as applied to freightage. I've been trying to sell it to the railroads for 10 years.
Didn't I tell you he was a genius, Pop?
Where's the check?
Oh, now, wait a minute, Pop. Give him a chance. Show him the trains, Hannibal.
Oh, yes, the trains. If you gentlemen will gather around the suitcase...
Come on, I want you to see them. I'm telling you.
Right.
Come on. Hey, look.
As you can see, I have in this suitcase a complete model railroad reduced to the size of a cigar box. Observe. That's enough, I think.
They run! Just like real trains!
Sweeney, not content with ruining my life, losing me my job, driving me to alcohol, you're now trying to drive me out of my mind with an obvious madman who builds model railroads. Here's the money, Bertie. Keep the change.
Oh, but, Pop...
Goodbye, gentlemen.
Pop, you're not even giving him a chance.
Out of my way.
Listen, Pop...
Out of my way.
It's always the same. They won't listen to me.
Oh, I guess Pop is losing his grip.
I hate them.
No, don't take it so hard, Hannibal. Maybe it was all a hallucination.
The Pertwee theory is not an hallucination.
Sure. Well, it was a good try anyway. I guess I'll go back to the office and pick up my stuff.
But I'll show them. Someday they'll listen.
Sure. You'll show them, Hannibal. Hey, Burley, fix Professor Pertwee here with a double scotch. Now, here, make it a triple.
The newest use of the isotope will enable medical experts to trace with accuracy the growth of Oh, nuts. Maybe it's better to be unemployed. Science editor speaking.
Pop?
Yeah?
Sweeney, listen, I got a story...
I thought Calburn canned you.
Can't fire me. Listen, you know Burley's bar?
Does DiMaggio know Yankee Stadium? What about Burley's bar?
It's gone.
Oh, sweet.
On the level, Pop, just a few seconds ago. Take a look at the window.
Sweeney, I warn you.
Take a look.
Okay, Sweeney, hang on. Albert?
Yes, Pop?
Do me a favor. Stick your head out of that window and tell me if anything unusual is going on at Burley's Corner.
Okay, Pop.
Holy jumping catfish!
Huh?
It's gone. Come here and look.
Well, I'll be a monkey. Where's Coleman?
He went to a polo match out on Long Island.
Who's on the city desk?
Young Stan.
Come on.
City desk, Sanford. Okay, I'll give it to rewrite. Just a second. City desk. What? Are you nuts? What? Everybody listen to this, will you? It's Martinson down at 34th Street. He says the Empire State Building has disappeared. Can you feature that?
What are you going to do about it?
Do? Am I supposed to do something? He's gone nuts.
Give me that phone.
Hey, let
Give me that phone. Hello, Marty. This is Pop.
Pop, what are you doing on there?
Never mind what happened.
Well, I'm down at the precinct. 5 minutes in. It's gone, he says. What's gone, they say? The Empire State, he says. Well, I figure I better call.
Okay, get down there and get the details. In case you need to convince him Burley's bar went just before you call.
Holy mackerel, what a catastrophe that is. Okay, Pop, I'll call you.
Look at the skyline. The Empire State isn't there.
No. Don't get panicky. Don't get panicky. It may come back just like Grant's tomb.
Okay, Pop. You'll take over, won't you? I'm kind of shaky.
Will I? I'll show you fledglings how to run a newspaper together. Wallace?
Yeah, Pop?
Get a camera down to the Empire State.
Right. What a story.
Call the mayor, Albert. Tell him what he intends to do.
Check.
Where's the research department?
Right here, sir. Columbia University says it's mass hypnotism.
Tell him to... No, dress it up and shoot it down.
Yes, sir.
Research? Wait a minute.
Yes, sir.
Find out how many people are usually in the Empire State.
Yes, sir.
No, don't try to call the Empire State to find out. No, it isn't there. City death. Shoot.
Right, Walter. Listen. I'm dead sober, see?
Yeah, the garbage, Frankie, the garbage.
Remember, I'm sober. S as in sober, O as in sober.
Come on, what happened?
Help me, Pop. Penn Station just disappeared. Vanished. Thin air.
Jumping turtles. The people too?
People trace the works. I'm telling you, there's a hole a block wide. I was lucky I was only a block away.
You saw it?
Eyewitness.
Oh, bless you, my boy, don't.
There was a rumble, see? A kind of electrical hum in the air. And all of a sudden, the station seemed to cave in on itself. Wango. Nothing.
Any statement?
No, but you ought to see the hole.
Oh, get statements, flathead. Where are you now?
I'm over at the post office right across the street from that.
Hello, Frankie. Frankie, operator.
Pop, we got a flash. The United States Post Office just went. The whole darn city is going piece by piece.
Don't lose your head, Albert. Hello.
This is the composing room about that Empire State Building story.
It's old news. We've just lost Penn Station and the post office. Get out a new banner head. New York City vanishing.
What about copy?
You don't need copy for a story like this. Tell that linotype operators to use their imagination. Albert!
Pop?
Anything else missing? Price of billing, maybe?
Nothing yet, Pop.
Oh. Anything reappeared yet?
No word on anything.
Maybe things are stabilizing. Call composing. Tell them to start rolling.
Right, Pop.
And find Sweeney. Telephone from downstairs a while ago. I forgot all about him. Tell him he's hired again. I'll print any statement that isn't immoral.
Uh-oh, Pop. Here comes Mr. Trouble.
Oh, now, take it easy, Colburn.
Adam B., what are you doing at the city desk? Where's Sanborn? What's going on here anyway? Has everyone gone out of his mind?
Listen, the Empire State, the Penn Station, and the post office have all been missing for almost 5 minutes.
Get away from that desk, you. Drop that telephone.
Listen.
I don't care if Washington, D.C. has been bombed by the Martians. I want you out of this office in 2 minutes. Albert, cash those extras. Pop, you get out. You're fired.
Oh, you're not being reasonable.
I'm not interested in the other papers. Just get out of here before I go start raving mad.
Hey, Pop.
Oh, hello, Sweeney. Where have you been?
I've been trying to make up my mind whether to come up or not. When you left me hanging on the phone, I thought you was insulting me. Hey, how come you aren't on the desk?
Oh, I'm canned.
Are you kidding?
Oh, it's been coming. I really had the place jumping. You should have seen me, Sweeney. It was like the San Francisco earthquake. Oh, I need a drink. How about... keep forgetting. Isn't any Burleys anymore?
No. Just a big hole in the ground.
Let's walk over. I want to browse around.
Oh, Pop, there's nothing to see.
Well, let's take a snoop anyway. Just for old time's sake.
Well, okay, Pop, let's cross. We got the light.
Well, will you look at that? Who'd ever thought that less than 10 minutes ago there was a building here?
Yeah.
Let's climb down and have a look, Sweeney.
Well, What for, Pop? It's getting dark, you know. We'll break our necks.
Sweeney, where's your old reporter spirit? Come on.
Okay, but I don't see what you expect to...
Ooh, my ankle.
Easy.
Clean as a bone.
Well, let's walk around a bit. See anything?
No, just rocks, pieces of the foundation. I'll bet you that... Pop, wait a minute.
What?
Will you look at this? So small I almost missed it.
I'll be a son of a perfect scale model of Burley's. Less than 4 inches tall.
What do you suppose this is doing here?
I don't know.
Can I help you, gentlemen?
Pipewheel. What are you doing down here?
I'm looking for my model. Thank you for finding it.
Oh, this is yours, is it?
Certainly. Now, if you'll be kind enough to hand it to me, I'll just put it back in my suitcase.
You better give it to him, Pop.
All right.
Thank you. There we are. Thank you, gentlemen.
I thought you just went in for model trains.
I have always been preoccupied with tiny things, but lately I've been branching out. Well, I really must be going. Thank you very much.
He's as loony as a bat. The geniuses are all crazy. I read it in a book.
Sweeney, you get a look in that suitcase?
Sure. I seen it when he opened it in the bar this morning.
I mean just now.
Oh, why?
This morning when he opened his suitcase, he had a little round tube and a set of model trains in it. Nothing else.
So?
This time he had 3 other models.
So what?
Nothing. Except they happened to be models of the Empire State, Penn Station, and the United States Post Office.
There he goes down the block, Pop.
Wait, come back here.
He's starting to run.
Here's a cab. Come on.
What to, Mac?
Catch up with that little guy running down on the block. Make it fast.
Okay, Mac.
There he is. Hold it, cabby, hold it. Come on, Sweeney.
Hey, how about my dough? Hey, you bum.
Stop, gentlemen. Stop, I warn you.
Hey, Pop. He's got that little tube out of his suitcase. He's pointing.
Grab him, Sweeney.
All right, give me that thing. Let go of my arm. Give it to me. There.
I warn you.
Never mind the warnings. Just you come along with us. We're going to have a little talk. Take him up to the office, Sweeney.
Sure. Pop.
What?
Where's the taxi?
What?
The taxi.
If you look at the curb, you'll find your taxi.
Jumping saints. Pop, look at it.
Now, gentlemen, perhaps the world will believe in the validity of the Pertwee system of infinite acceleration.
All right, Hannibal, now you start talking.
I won't.
Hold his hand, Sweeney.
That's a pleasure.
Well, Hannibal?
Let me out of this office.
Talk.
Never.
Sweeney, where's the tube?
It's right here, Pop.
Now, Hannibal, I give you 5 seconds to talk. After which I'm turning this tube on you for a taste of your own medicine. Now think it over. 1, 2.
No.
3.
I hate them. Why should I save them?
4.
All right. Put it away, please.
That's better. Now, how did you do it?
Many years ago, Einstein posed a theory that if an object were sufficiently accelerated, it would gradually flatten out and eventually disappear altogether. Working on this approach, I evolved a method of accelerating the atoms within the molecules, setting an object spinning in 4 rather than 3 dimensions. For many years, I tried to sell my idea to the railroad for condensing freight and storage.
And you start the thing spinning with this little tube?
The tube sends out a whirling ring of electrons which engulf the object.
Why did you turn it on those buildings?
I was driven to it. Only something dramatic could shock the world into realizing my greatness.
But you'll restore them. You brought back Grant's tomb.
I can restore them, yes.
Not can, Hannibal. Will.
On one condition.
Well?
That your paper give me full credit for my scientific achievement. Front page, pictures, a complete story.
It's a deal.
Wait a minute, Pop. We don't even work for this paper anymore, remember?
We'll take care of that little matter, Sweeney. Mr. Colburn, this is Pop Adderby. You've just rehired me. Now, if you'd care to step down the hall into my new office, I think I can show you something make your hair stand on end. I have 3 missing buildings in my desk drawer. Well? He's on fire. Says he's coming down here to have me committed to an institution.
Fine. All right, Atterby. All right. What's going on here? I fired you. I ordered you off these premises. If this is a joke,
Mr. Colburn, you see these models?
What about them?
What would you say if I were to tell you that these 5-inch models are actually the Empire State, Penn Station, the United States Post Office, and Burley's Bar, and a taxicab, all compressed 500 times, that there are people in them so tiny they can't see them, that even time is so compressed inside these buildings that movement is impossible.
This is insanity. Who is this man?
Sit down, Colburn. The show hasn't even started yet. Sweeney, put the taxicab out in the middle of the floor.
Okay, Pop.
Now, stand back. Hannibal, here's the tube. Now do your stuff.
Stand back. Now.
Good Lord. I don't believe it. It's getting bigger.
I reversed the polarity of the spin very gradually.
What's the idea of blocking traffic, you lousy bum? Hey, where am I? Hey, what happened? How did my cab get in this office?
Take it easy, George.
What is this? Who are you? Hey, ain't you the fare that skipped out on me? Hey, what is this, a bug house?
Well, Mr. Colburn?
I don't understand.
But you do believe.
Well, yes, I saw it right before my eyes.
Okay, well, then here's the deal. You give our boy Hannibal a front-page spread with pictures. He'll take these other buildings back to the original sites and restore them just like they were, with our cameras getting exclusive shots. Now, is it a bargain?
Is it a bargain? I may not be the best newspaper man in the world, but this is the biggest thing since Noah's Ark. You're rehired as city editor at your old salary.
My old salary?
All right, plus a 500 bonus.
It's a deal. Sweeney, call composing. Tell them to double the size of the front page. Have them hold it for a red banner full-page headline. Got that?
Right.
Hello, Albert. This is Pop. Listen, I want all photographers up in my office right away. Call research. Tell that girl to have Columbia send a battery of big shots over to the former site of Penn Station. Copy.
Hey, Mac.
Copy, boy.
Hey, Mac.
I'm busy, George. Sweeney, what's the word?
Messed up.
All right. What is it?
All I want to know is, how do I get my hack out of this office?
You have just heard another adventure in time, space, and the unknown world of the future. The world of...
Dimension.
How would you like to leave your home and friends for a trip that might last for 10 years or forever? You'll hear all about it on Dimension X next week when we present Shanghai. Today, Dimension X has presented The Professor Was a Thief, an adaptation by George Lefferts of a story by L. Ron Hubbard. Featured in the cast were Arthur Maitland as Pop, John Larkin as Sweeney, and John Gibson as the Professor. Your host was Norman Rose. Music by Bert Berman, engineer Bill Chambers. Dimension X is produced by William Welch and directed by Edward King. Three chimes mean good times on NBC. Tonight is the time for the premiere of NBC's gigantic Sunday night broadcast, The Big Show. Every Sunday evening, starting tonight, you'll hear an hour and a half of the greatest stars in radio. Performers like Fred Allen, Jimmy Durante, Ethel Merman, Frankie Lane, Meredith Wilson, and many, many more. And your MC will be the lady who invented the snappy retort, Tallulah Bankhead.
It's The Big Show. Hear The Big Show later today on NBC.
Captain Tex Bradford and Jerry Hall are certainly in an exciting spot now. Two of the Euclidean scientists, Cheops, the master builder, and Thales, the chief electrician of the underwater city, have taken Jerry and Tex for a test run in one of the rocket-propelled airships of the Euclideans. All has been going very smoothly, with nothing worse than amazement happening to our friends. But now, a new note has crept into the proceedings. There is a disturbance on the radiograph. Someone is on their course. The beam signal from Euclidia is not interrupted. Therefore, another aircraft of some type must be in the air, ahead of them and above them. But that's impossible. Their delicate instruments don't register the presence of any other plane. Let's see what the scientists can do about this.
Oh, gee, what are you going to do about it?
There seems little to do at the moment.
But if someone is on this course, isn't there danger of our running into them?
There is the pleasant possibility of our doing that.
Pleasant possibility? Running into another airship 40,000 feet in the air and going 800 miles an hour?
Captain Bradford.
Yes?
Is there any type of aircraft in your world which might be cruising at an altitude of 40,000 feet over this location in the South Pacific Ocean?
Not a chance.
We will continue to climb steadily.
Don't forget G47's orders. He said not to go over 50,000 feet and not to get more than 100 miles from the position of Euclidia.
We do not require your assistance, Hall. The orders were clear to us.
Jerry was only thinking about making G47 angry. He's bad enough at any time.
Silence. The radio beam is fading out.
It's going now. And what does that mean?
I am not sure.
Oh, boy. Did you hear that, Tex? There's something that one of these Euclideans is not sure about.
This is indeed most unusual.
Well, do we just sit here and comment on it while we race along towards danger at 1,000 miles an hour?
You will be so good as to remember that our course lies in a circle over the undersea city of Euclidia. If this obstacle remains on our course, it can mean but one thing. Another aircraft of some strange type is also on the same course, describing the same circle.
You mean somebody's chasing us?
Oh, we're chasing them?
Something of that nature.
Thales, you will conserve your power. Prepare to stabilize this plane with the helium escape valves and check our position.
Right?
Seems to be something going on here, Jerry.
It sure looks like it.
Every instrument on board this plane is distorted.
Your proof?
Look downward.
Yeah. Look, Tex. There's the ocean.
Sure is, Jerry. We're only a few thousand feet above it.
I cannot understand this.
Well, how do we get home?
I will attempt to communicate with Euclidia. Straighter plane X1 to Euclidia. Requesting bearings. Straighter plane X1 to Euclidia. Check our beam and give us our position.
Oh, boy. We're lost.
We are. Very definitely lost. Our instruments have all failed. Our altimeter shows 43,000 feet. We are actually about 4,300 feet above the water.
Well, this seems like a good time for a little simple navigation with the sun.
That would be the answer indeed, if it were not for the fact that we have no idea as to where Euclidia lies in relation to our present position.
But we can't be over 100 miles from it.
We should not be over 100 miles from Euclidia. We may be near 500.
Oh, I see what you're getting at. If our instruments are all wrong, we may not have been describing a circle at all.
Oh, but Tex, we only have fuel enough for 500 miles. If we're going 400 miles in a straight line, how do we get home?
Looks like we may have to walk.
That will hardly be necessary, but we would have to ask for aid from the city.
Huh. I'll bet G47 would like that.
G47 would find a number of ways to make life most unpleasant for us if such were the case.
Yes, and he's good at that.
Commander S1, waiting your report. You will proceed, Thales.
Gee, the girl commander on Euclidia.
You will make the report, Thales.
Straighter plane reporting to Commander S1. All instruments paralyzed. Request check beam and give our position.
Your beam is being checked. Your course is number 1 west from Euclidia.
Due west of Euclidia.
We have fuel for 100 miles.
What power are you using on your voice transmitter?
25 watts.
Your graph is being calibrated. Here is the result. Your command lies approximately 125 miles from Euclidia.
What are G47's instructions?
You will proceed at full speed toward Euclidia. Maintain your present altitude. Report when fuel exhausted. When you complete that report, you will descend and submerge at once. Aid will be dispatched at this time. Lay your course due east. That is all.
One moment, Commander. We have no compass. Everything on the control panel is useless.
If you do not know how to navigate a true course in broad daylight with the sun shining brightly, perhaps Captain Bradford will assist you. That is all.
Oh, boy. Did that girl commander tell you that time?
Careful, Jerry.
You will learn to hold your tongue, young man. Keops, full speed forward. Due east. Run to the exhaustion of our fuel.
Full speed. Due east. Very well.
I'll be glad to help you navigate if you want me to, Thales.
I could easily request a radio beam from Euclidia if it were necessary.
Well, if you can't tell which direction is east, I'd say it was kind of necessary right now.
Silence.
Sorry.
Our course is now due east. We are accelerating rapidly.
Very well. Continue so.
What happens when we run out of fuel?
We will take advantage of our altitude to progress as far as possible along our course, then settle to the surface and submerge.
Yeah, and wait there for G-47 to come out and give us plenty of trouble.
I think G-47 will have other things to think about. That girl submarine commander will require his attention for her impertinence to me.
G-47 may not look at it that way. We have found that girl commander most intelligent.
You have also found her most helpful on occasion, have you not?
What?
Gee, do you suppose G-47 suspects?
Watch it, Jerry.
Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry.
Yes, my foolish young man. G-47 not only suspects, he knows.
Knows what?
That the girl in question, the finest and most trusted submarine commander in our colony, deliberately aided your party in your 2 escapes from the island.
You mean G-47
Hey,
knows?
Tex, don't let these fellows kid you. That girl didn't help us a bit. That's just imagination.
Yes?
Yes, there's a mistake somewhere.
There is indeed, but that mistake will be rectified upon our return to Euclidia.
But don't you do anything to get that girl in bed. She's a friend of ours.
Just as I thought.
Oh, gee, I'm sorry, Tex.
Never mind, Jerry. I don't think we could tell these men anything they don't know already.
That is your most intelligent observation to date, Captain.
Well, I suggest you stop worrying us and give your attention to getting this crippled ship home.
While you are making suggestions, you might offer one as to the cause of this condition. You are here at the request of G-47, who, for some reason, believed you might prove valuable in such a predicament as this.
If you want my advice, you can have it.
We will listen.
Well, in the first place, are these ships comparatively new? By that I mean, how many long cruises have you made in them under various conditions?
These planes have been out rarely. There is no necessity of running exhaustive tests on anything of Euclidean invention. Our machines are perfect.
Yeah, like the way this ship is acting today.
This was unavoidable.
Nothing is unavoidable. G-47 is the author of that remark. I think you'll find that your tempered copper is much too fine a conductor to be highly successful as a material used throughout this ship. Instruments will all react to magnetism under certain conditions, and even the cases containing these instruments are of copper.
That will substantiate a claim I made at the time Thales insisted that my tempered copper was the material for this work. I disagreed with him.
The copper has nothing to do with this condition, related to it in no possible... Oh, yes, that could be... Those fins, they are copper with a steel core.
And nearly anything wrapped around a steel core would make a fine magnet in a ship full of electricity.
Well, I'll bet that's it. The instruments were all right when we were on the water, and those wings were folded back into the sides of the ship.
If that were the case, how do you account for the fact that numerous trips have been made in ships such as this one, and the instruments worked perfectly?
Well, I can't explain that yet, but give me time to take one of these things to pieces when we get back to Euclidia, and I'll find out what the weak points are.
Commander S1 to rocket plane. S1 calling Thales in straight-up plane.
Silence. Thales to Commander S1. Ready.
You will continue to transmit continuously. Your graph will be run and your position corrected.
Position is correct as last given. On course 1 east to Euclidia.
You are not on course 1 east. Directional prism reflectors fail to locate you. Continue transmitting.
Very well. We are proceeding at full speed along a course believed to be due east to Euclidia. Altitude about 4,000 feet. Fuel for approximately 50 miles. Is there any further information I can give you?
You may cease transmission. Your graph has been calibrated. You are 7 degrees off your course.
Impossible.
You are 7 degrees north of your course. You will make this correction immediately.
Very well.
Proceed along course. Notify me immediately when fuel exhausted. I am leaving at once. That is all.
Hey, that girl is coming out after us with her submarine.
Obviously so.
This is getting to be a habit. It'll make the third time she's dragged us to the island.
It will be a comparatively simple task on this occasion. We should reach the surface of the water within 25 miles of Euclidia.
if that sound has any significance. Your latest observation is faulty, Thales.
Yes, that was bad. We are losing headway. We must take advantage of this altitude and glide down.
What was that noise?
The last of the gas leaving the fuel chambers. We are without fuel.
And we're a lot more than 25 miles from Euclidia.
Only less than 75 miles.
Hey, we're going down mighty fast. How can you land this thing without power?
Right, Jerry. We haven't enough wing surface for a glide. This thing's dropping like a bullet.
I will now compensate for that.
Oh, boy. Did we bounce that time? Hey, what did we hit?
That sudden jar was caused by the release of the helium cylinders. The outer shell of this plane is now expanding.
Expanding?
Precisely.
You mean that you release compressed helium into the outer shell, and that it is pliable enough to expand and carry our weight as the lightest in an airship?
Precisely.
Well, it's a good trick if it works, but it looks to me like we're starting down again, and mighty fast, too.
What? Yes, we are falling again. I will release the reserve supply of helium.
Hey, you have to do that so rough?
It's better to flatten out up here than it is to hit the water at the speed we were making.
We are gaining speed again. We are not being supported.
Yes, something vital has failed.
You mean we're falling? You can't stop us?
Steady, Jerry. What's to be done, Thales?
I have exhausted every means at my command.
How about you, Cheops?
There is nothing more to be done.
What will be our speed when we hit that water?
The least we may hope for is a speed of 75 miles an hour.
75 miles an hour? But, hey, we can't land that fast. We're going pretty near straight down. Well, that's going to smash the ship to pieces.
Afraid it will, Jerry. This is once the Euclidean perfection has failed, and failed plenty.
One of the Euclidean rocket planes is hurtling down out of the sky. With Captain Bradford and Jerry Hall on board, two of the Euclidean scientists, Cheops and Thales, have made a test run in a rocket plane. Some flaw in the instruments has caused them to run beyond their fuel limits, and in trying to return to Euclidia, the fuel supply has failed them completely. They are within 75 miles of the underwater city, and help from Euclidia will reach them quickly. But all of this may do them very little good. The plane is diving for the water at a speed of over 50 miles an hour, and the helium gas supply, which was to have inflated the shell of the strange craft and allow them to settle gently to the sea, has proven inadequate. Only 1,000 feet separates the falling plane from the water.
We're going ahead.
I can do nothing.
Here, give me the controls.
What can you do?
Give me the controls. Everybody keep quiet and hang on.
What are you going to do, Tex?
I'm not sure, kid, but I think I can do it. Now, hang on. Well, we're down.
I'll say we're down. And we're floating on the water just as nice as you please. How did you do it, Tex?
Just flew this thing down, that's all.
That is one of the most remarkable demonstrations it has been my experience to witness.
Phenomenal.
All you have to know is a little about flying. Perhaps you gentlemen would do well to take a few lessons.
Your rebuke is well deserved.
Yeah, serves you right, too. But how did you do it, Tex?
Just took a chance and it came out right. After all, Jerry, the secret in good flying is the men, not their instruments. I saw that those dinky little wings weren't going to hold us up at the rate we were going, so I folded them back in, shot straight down, and then checked our course by shooting the wings out again, using full elevators at the same time.
You sure checked our course all right. I felt like I was going through the bottom of this sea.
That was preferable to going through the floor of the ocean.
And how it was.
You may not realize it, Captain Bradford, but you have placed yourself in a very enviable position.
Old G47 will give me a tin medal for this, I suppose.
His expression will be more practical. You will undoubtedly find yourself given a place of honor among the scientists of Euclidia.
Oh, the captain doesn't want to be a Euclidean.
Don't be too sure of that, Jerry. As long as we're going to spend a long time in Euclidia, it might be more comfortable to spend it as a Euclidean.
Well, let's quit arguing about what we're going to be and tell somebody in Euclidia that we're sitting out here in the water.
Good idea, Jerry. We haven't any motive power?
None. Our gas is exhausted. I will report. Cheops to Euclidia. Straighter plane to central control. Waiting.
Gee, it's going to be nice if they've forgotten all about us out here.
That is impossible.
Yeah? Well, you said it was impossible for this plane to go wrong, too, but it sure did just the same.
I think they're waiting for a signal from us.
They are slow in answering. I will continue asking for a signal. Key-ops to Euclidean Control Station. Key-ops calling Central Control Station. Straighter plane is down. Helpless on water. Answer at once. Key-ops to Euclidean
This is indeed interesting, Commander.
You are very fortunate, Cleostra. G47 is in high good humor when he allows anyone in this communication chamber.
It has been a long time since we heard from the plane. Do you suppose Jerry and Captain Bradford are all right?
Supposition is of little value in any case. We may assume that they are in no danger.
But if they are running out of fuel?
When they report again, we will start out to locate them and tow them in.
We? Then I am going with you.
You have G47's permission to accompany me at any time. If your mother has no objection, I will take you on this trip.
Key-ops calling Central Control Station. Key-ops calling Central Control Station.
Silence, Cleostra. Key-ops is calling.
Key-ops calling Euclidia. Straighter plane is down. Helpless on water. Unable to submerge. Answer at once.
Oh, Commander, they are down. And Key-ops says they are helpless.
Silence. Commander S1 to straighter plane. Leaving at once with submarine. Will run on surface if possible. Keep me informed your position. That is all.
Something must have gone wrong with the plane.
That is not likely. Euclidean machines are perfect.
You may be right, but I am very worried about them.
We will start at once, using this large submarine with heavy stern towing fins. Follow me into the central control section. You may occupy the seat on my left. Hurry. We will use the lock which admits us to the water at this depth. The pressure will aid in getting maximum speed quickly.
Commander, what is that frightful noise?
We are sliding down the ramp into the lock. The submarine is being propelled by magnets beneath the floor of the ramp.
This is one of the regular submarines, is it not, Commander?
Yes. Another straighter plane would save little time on such a short run and would be almost useless for towing the other vessel.
We are now in the lock.
In a few seconds, the lock will be filled. Then we may go.
You do not feel at all alarmed over the position of the captain and Jerry? Yet they are helpless on the surface of the water.
Alarm would not aid them. We must not rush to conclusions as to their condition. We will arrive at their position in approximately 3,600 seconds. I will now leave the lock. Brace yourself firmly. Our speed will be very great.
We are rising at a terrifying rate.
The 400 feet to the surface should take us not more than 15 seconds.
What will happen when we burst out of the water at this speed?
We will not burst out, as you term it. I shall now level off gradually.
Oh, Commander, we are out of the water. We are on the surface and running smoothly.
Precisely. That should not surprise you. Did you not steal one of these submarines and take your mother, Jerry Hall, and the captain safely to Los Angeles?
To be sure, but I could never operate this as you do. You are very clever, Commander.
Naturally. I earned my place as the foremost commander on Euclidia. Now we will continue on this course. That plane will be drifting slightly, and Cheops was very indefinite as to their exact position. But I think we may safely run full speed ahead for some time.
What is our speed now?
You may observe the instrument.
Thank you. Oh, 75 miles per hour. This is the maximum speed of this vessel, is it not?
It is, and a speed that is not advisable except in an emergency.
Oh, I am so worried about the captain and Jerry.
You are very fond of that silly young man, are you not?
I am, and he is not silly.
Very well. I wish to tell you something, Joan.
Joan? Why, Commander, you called me Joan.
Precisely. You prefer that to Cleostra, do you not?
Why, yes. Of course I do, but you...
Do not interrupt me. We have only a short time, and I have much to tell you.
I will be happy to listen.
G47 knows that I assisted you in your 2 attempts to escape from the island.
He knows.
Positively?
But if he knows that, he will punish you terribly.
My punishment has been prescribed. It will take the effect the moment we return from this rescue expedition.
What is the punishment to be?
I am to be stripped of my authority, robbed of my place as a Euclidean, and sent to join your party, where I will live under the same conditions as now govern you?
Our party? You mean that you will be considered as we are? Virtually prisoners? Potential enemies of Euclidia?
Precisely. I will have quarters adjoining yours. From this time forth, my lot is cast with yours.
Why, Commander, that is wonderful.
Wonderful?
Why, of course, is it not?
I am not sure.
Oh, but it will be wonderful. You will like our way of living, and then you can have lovely clothes and stop wearing that Euclidean cloth uniform.
I wonder how it will feel to live as you do.
Oh, you will be happy with us. Mother will let you have one of her dresses to wear. Oh, I am so excited. There is so much I want to tell you about Mother's world. I hardly know where to start.
Silence. Our conversation must be postponed.
Is something wrong?
Do not become excited. I will find out.
How can you tell who it is if the signal is too weak?
I will use a magnetic beam and attempt to relay the impulses to our equipment.
Kiops, calling Euclidean Control Station. Kiops to Euclidia. Straight a plane to Central Control. Emergent. Answer at once. Emergent. Kiops calling Euclidia.
Jerry and the captain, they are in trouble.
Silence, Cleostra. I will attend to this. Commander S1, Euclidean Patrol Submarine number 1. Getting your signal very faintly, Kiops. Proceed. Hurry. Waiting.
Our plane was damaged in landing. We are filling up with water. No compressed air. No gas. Preparing to leave ship. Bulkhead gas exhausted. We will have to swim without aid. The batteries are underwater. Radio will start soon.
Break. Orders. Abandon ship immediately. Give us your exact position. We are proceeding at full speed along course 1 west from Euclidia. Your position.
Position. Lance given is best. Advise. Water. Batteries. Hurry.
Commander, their radio stopped.
Yes. The vessel is flooded.
And we do not even know their exact position.
True. And without the ship, it will be almost difficult to reach them in the water.
I know that. If the water is the least bit rough, it is nearly impossible to see a swimmer in it.
Are the captain and young Hall good swimmers?
Very good. The captain has been a champion swimmer, and Jerry swims strongly and easily.
They will need all their skill. Neither Thales nor Cheops can swim.
They cannot swim.
Precisely. Very few Euclideans are able to swim. The perfection of Euclidean boats has made swimming unnecessary.
Then hurry, Commander, hurry.
I am driving this boat beyond the safety factor at this moment.
Well, if we save those men, you may thank Jerry and the captain for it. And remember that in our world we do not depend on machines.
You speak freely of your world for one who knows so little of it, Cleopatra.
I may know little of it, but anything known of the outside world is better than everything the Euclideans know.
I am beginning to believe you. I await my entry into your life with pleasure. But first, we have a mission to perform.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Kellogg's Pep. P-E-P, Pep. Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine Cereal, presents The Adventures of Superman. Today, Clark Kent and Jimmy Olsen hope to spring a trap on the man behind the curtain and deliver their first blow against the wellspring of hate and prejudice. Hello there, gang. This is your pal, Dan McCullough. Say, here's a fact you can chalk up for sure. It takes a solid sort of breakfast to start your day in high, to help send you off to school full of vim and vigor. That's why Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine Cereal, heads the list of breakfast favorites with so many fellows and girls. Because Pep looks so golden toasted and good, you really want to eat hearty. Yes, sir, those tender, crisp flakes of sun-ripened whole wheat sure do give your appetite the old come on. And when you pitch in, when you get your first taste of that smooth sunshine flavor, see if it isn't Kellogg's Pep for you from then on. Every spoonful is so crisp and so keen and full of flavor that, well, before you know it, you've polished off every bit of pep in your bowl. And a good thing that is, especially nowadays, when the cereal grains are being sent to give that swell grain nourishment to fellows and girls all around the world. So, gang, this is no time to waste cereal. When Mom brings Kellogg's Pep home from the grocer's, make yourself a committee of one to help guard against waste. If you pour your own Pep, pour it carefully and eat up every bit you pour out. Pass the word along to the rest of your family, too. Remember, gang, eat all your Pep. Don't waste it.
And now, the adventures of Superman.
On a Catholic priest, a Jewish rabbi, and a Methodist minister formed a committee to raise funds to build a gymnasium and playground to be known as Unity House, whose doors would be open to all children regardless of race, religion, or color. They ran into trouble. A subversive organization calling itself the Guardians of America threatened the members of the committee with violence unless they resigned. Thus far, 4 murderous attacks have been made, and 2 of the innocent victims, Rabbi Stone and young Danny O'Neill, are in the hospital. But now Superman, in his guise of Clark Kent, believes the time has come to expose and arrest the hate-mongering head of the organization, which, like so many other underhanded groups of its kind, is attempting only to cause trouble between people of different religious faiths. Our scene opens in the office of Inspector Henderson at police headquarters, where Clark Kent and Jimmy Olsen are pleading for more time to put the last part of their plan into effect.
All we need, Inspector, is another few hours. Is that asking too much?
Yes. When you were in this office yesterday morning at 10 o'clock, I told you I'd give you 24 hours and not another fraction of a second beyond that time, and you agreed.
Yes, but Inspector... Just a minute, Jim, wait a minute. Yes, of course we agreed, Inspector. We thought 24 hours would be time enough. But it didn't turn out that way.
I'm sorry, Kent, but that's all the time you're going to get.
But we've got...
Now that we've got that young hoodlum Muggs behind bars, we're going to raid his pool room hangout, round up the rest of his gang, and send them off to reform school.
Look, Inspector, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Muggs and his juvenile gang aren't responsible for the things that have happened. You and I are responsible.
Are you crazy? What have we got to do with it?
Wait a minute, Inspector. Let's look at this sensibly. It all started 3 days ago. Or was it 4? I don't know. I've lost track of time.
Well, what difference does it make? It started with a Morton Street fire.
Right. 2 kids, a boy named Muggs and another one...
Skinny.
A boy named Skinny, threw a brick through the window of Dave Hoffman's drugstore and set fire to the gauze perfume display. All right, why?
How do I know why?
What do you mean, how do you know? You know as well as I do, because Hoffman was a member of the Unity House Committee, and these kids were told to set fire to his store.
That doesn't make them innocent.
No, you're right, it doesn't, but let's go on. 2 nights later, the same boys, with the help of a few more, broke into Rabbi Stone's temple. Again, why?
To smash it up.
But why?
All right, they were told to do it.
And last night they were told to attach a homemade explosive bomb to the motor of Perry White's car in order to get White and Dr. Leeds, the Methodist minister.
And still, you think they shouldn't be punished.
Oh, now, wait, Inspector. I never said anything of the sort.
Huh?
What I did say, and I say it again, is that Muggs and the rest of them may not be bad boys. It's the people behind them who are really bad. The dirty, slimy rats who got these kids to do their dirty work.
All right, we'll run them in, too.
Oh, that's just the trouble. You won't. The minute this thing is given any publicity, the minute they learn you've raided that pool room and are holding these kids, they'll go underground, back into the rat holes. They'll wait until the heat is off, till it blows over. Then they'll come out again to feed on the people and spread their poison. And when you add up the score, what'll it be? You'll have half a dozen kids in a reform school, but the real criminals, the traitors who call themselves the Guardians of America, they'll be free to get other kids to do their filthy jobs for them.
And you think you've got a better way, huh?
I know we have, Inspector.
Huh?
When Jimmy posed as a young tough and joined Muggs' gang, we started the ball rolling from the inside. If Jim hadn't learned what he did, Stone's temple would have been smashed up and Perry White's car would have exploded and probably killed him and Dr. Leeds.
I'm not saying you haven't done a good job, Kent.
Thanks.
But now it's time to stop fooling around. We've got to wipe this out fast.
Don't you understand, Inspector? You're not wiping it out. Remember what I said about poison ivy? You can't kill it by cutting off the leaves. You've got to dig out the roots. And these people, these hate-mongers who should be called the enemies of America, they're the poison roots.
Ah, you're dressing it up, Kent.
Dressing it up? My eye. Why don't they want a place like Unity House built? Why are they trying to stop it? Jim, you tell the inspector, you know.
Well, because they don't want Catholic kids and Jewish kids and Protestant kids to become friends.
Right. Why not?
Well, because if they get to be friends, they'll stick together. They won't listen to guys like Hitler and Mussolini, who always start trouble by getting people to fight among themselves first.
That's exactly the reason. It happened just that way in Germany. Hitler lied to the German people, told them the Catholics and the Jews were trying to take over the country. And these phony Guardians of America are doing the same thing here. Or trying to.
And you think you can stop them? Single-handed?
No, not single-handed, but we can cut out some of the roots and kill some of the poison.
All right. What do you want to do?
Now you're talking.
Now, wait a minute. I haven't okayed anything yet.
You will, once we tell you what we're planning.
Well, let's hear it first.
Okay, here's the setup. Now, when we pulled that phony arrest at the pool room in order to get Jim here out of a tough spot, the Guardians of America sent a lawyer down, a man named Green, to find out why he was arrested.
I know all about that.
Okay. When Green got Jim out of jail, or thought he did, he took him to the headquarters of the Guardians, and Jim had a conversation with the big boss, who didn't show his face, but talked from behind a black velvet curtain.
Uh-huh. And he gave me a special assignment. Told me to visit an art gallery owned by a man named Klein and slash some valuable paintings with a razor blade.
Old masters worth hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Nice people.
Yeah, it's lovely. Well, at any rate, I got in touch with Mr. Klein, and we had a talk with him last night. He was more than happy to cooperate.
Now, don't tell me he's willing to let you cut up his paintings.
Of course not. Now, what we did, Inspector, was write a news story to the effect that someone did slash the paintings, and Mr. Klein agreed to go along with the story in case anyone questioned him.
And what do you expect that to accomplish?
Well, A, it should convince the big boss that Jim is on the level, and B, it may get him to step out from behind his curtain and show Jim his face, so that when you and your men grab him, we'll have positive identification. As it stands now, we can't prove a thing.
No, we don't know his name, and none of us has seen his face.
All this A and B stuff. When's it going to happen?
Well, we thought we'd give him plenty of chance to see the story in the paper. I thought Jim could safely pay them a visit early this evening, say about 5 o'clock.
What if it doesn't work? What if the guy doesn't show himself?
Then you can step in and take over.
Oh, thanks for the permission.
Oh, now, wait a minute. I didn't mean it as permission, and you know it.
What's going to happen when the other papers pick up your phony story and start pumping Klein?
I told you, he'll play along.
Well, what if they want to see these slashed pictures?
He'll stall them. Don't worry about Klein. He's just as anxious as we are to trap these rats.
I don't know. Well, it sounds pretty risky to me, but, well, if you think it'll work, I'll play along.
Thanks, Inspector. Well, we're all set, Jim.
Swell, let's go.
Now, wait a minute. Let's get one thing straight. This is your last chance.
Well, we've agreed to that, right, Jim?
Right. Oh, but don't worry, Mr. Kent. I've got a hunch something's going to happen this time. We won't need another chance.
We'll return in just a moment for the startling climax of today's episode, when Jimmy enters the headquarters of the Guardians of America. So stand by.
Gang, right here we ought to have a fanfare, or at least a roll of the drums, to give a good send-off to this week's Pep Dish of the Week, because it's really a honey. It's a Pep Strawberry Flip, as smooth a dish as you'd ever want to taste. Here's how easy it is to fix. You top your regular serving of Kellogg's Pep with plump strawberries. Then take your spoon and give the whole thing a neat flip. Carefully now, so you don't spill any. And see how the berries nestle down among those crisp, delicate flakes of whole wheat. Add milk and sugar, and you have a Pep Strawberry Flip, one of the dozens of keen ways to enjoy Kellogg's Pep come breakfast time. And I mean enjoy. Why, Pep is loaded with golden toasted sunshine flavor. It's called the Sunshine Cereal. Crisp and tender, too. So bang up good that, well, you want to dig in and finish off every delicious spoonful. And that's the right idea nowadays, you know, because you don't want to waste cereal when we're sending the cereal grains to fellows and girls across the seas. Keep that in mind, gang, when Mom brings Kellogg's Pep home from the grocer's. Make it your job to see that it's not wasted. Remember to handle the package carefully if you pour your own Pep, and polish off every bit you pour out. And kind of keep watch on your younger brothers and sisters, too. Make sure to eat all your Pep. Don't waste it.
It is 10 minutes after 5. Fighting to control his nervousness, Jimmy has taken an elevator to the penthouse apartment occupied by the Guardians of America. After being questioned at the entrance foyer by a man with a slight German accent, he was led into the room in which he had been interviewed once before. Now, alone in the room, he faces the black velvet curtain strung across one end and licks his dry lips as he struggles to still the pounding of his heart. For long moments, he can hear only the faint ticking of a clock on the desk in front of the curtain. Then, suddenly, a muffled voice pierces the black velvet.
I've been expecting you all afternoon, old man.
Oh, yeah?
Yes. I read an account in the newspaper. Something to the effect that the Klein Art Gallery had been visited by a vandal. It seems that 5 valuable paintings were cut with a razor blade.
That's too bad.
Yes, it is too bad. I suppose now you've come for your reward.
Well, you said if I did the job good, you'd pay off.
I certainly did, and I certainly will. In fact, since you have proved yourself, I'm going to accord you a very rare privilege. I'm going to let you meet me face to face.
Oh, Cleves.
What was that?
Nothing. I kind of coughed.
Just let me pull this curtain back. There we are. Now, Olson, let me shake your hand. You've done us a great service. My name is Frank Hill.
Glad to meet you.
Did you have any difficulty at Mr. Klein's art gallery?
Nah, it was a cinch.
According to the story in the Daily Planet, the paintings were completely ruined.
Yeah, I slashed them up good.
Well, that's fine. Now, before we discuss anything further, I should like you to meet one of my close associates. He's a man who's done a great deal for the Guardians of America. A great deal. He's waiting in the next room. This way, Olson.
Okay.
Before we go in, I think I'd better warn you. You may be a little shocked when you see this man.
Oh, yeah?
Yes. In fact, you will be. Shall we go in?
Suits me.
Very well. Step right in, Olson.
You.
Startled, Jimmy Olsen stands rooted to the spot, staring at the man in the adjoining room. The color drains from his cheeks and his lips turn ghastly pale. He tries to breathe, but his throat has suddenly become paralyzed. Who is the man? Why has meeting him shocked Jimmy into panic-stricken silence? Gang, if you don't know now, you'll know tomorrow when we continue with the thrill-packed episode entitled Death Sentence. Don't miss it. Tune in, same time, same station.
And remember, for breakfast, it's Kellogg's Pep.
For excitement, the adventures of Superman.
Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Superman DC Comic Magazine and is brought to you Monday through Friday at the same time by Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine Cereal. Say, kids, if you're training your dog, try rewarding him for good behavior with Kellogg's Grow Pup. There's a dog food that makes a hit with dogs right from the word go. Gives them swell, meaty flavor, and gives them 3 different kinds to pick from. Grow Pup Ribbon, Grow Pup Meal, and Grow Pup Pellets. All full of what it takes to help keep a dog right on the beam, to help build strong bones and teeth and muscles. That's why lots of champs feed on Grow Pup. So ask Mother to get Kellogg's Grow Pup for your dog today. And be sure to be with us tomorrow for the thrilling adventures of Superman. This is the Mutual Broadcasting.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Kellogg's Pep. P-E-P, Pep. Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine Cereal, presents
The Adventures of Superman. Today, the trap set by Superman for the man behind the curtain has snapped its jaw on Jimmy Olsen as the young reporter faces a new enemy in the lair of the hate-monger.
You know, gang, this week's Pep Dish of the Week is really in the groove. As smooth a breakfast dish as you'd ever want to taste. It's a Pep Strawberry Flip, and you can fix it yourself with just a flip of the wrist. Here's the idea. You start with your regular serving of Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine Cereal. Add some fine, ripe strawberries. Then, with your spoon, give the whole thing a neat flip. Now, carefully, so that you don't spill it all over everywhere. And when the berries nestle down among those crisp, delicate flakes of Pep, what a treat you have. That sunny golden toasted flavor of Kellogg's Pep sparkles like anything. And those whole wheat flakes are so tender and crunchy, they really do things for the strawberries. Try a Pep Strawberry Flip, gang. See if it doesn't put an edge on your morning appetite. See if Kellogg's Pep doesn't taste so terrific, you want to pitch right in and polish off every single spoonful in your bowl. And, you know, that's the right angle nowadays, when the cereal grains are being sent to fellows and girls all over the world. So Get Hep to Pep, gang. Don't waste it. When Mom brings Kellogg's Pep home from the grocer's, make sure there's no waste at your house. If you pour your own Pep, pour it carefully and eat up every bit you pour out. Make it a habit to eat all your Pep. Don't waste it.
And now, the adventures of Superman. Masquerading as a young, tough Jimmy Olsen, cub reporter for the Daily Planet, gained entrance to the secret headquarters of the subversive, hate-mongering organization calling itself the Guardians of America. There, he was given an assignment by the mysterious head of the organization, who spoke to him from behind a black velvet curtain. The assignment was to destroy a group of valuable oil paintings in an art gallery owned by a man named Adolf Klein. Clark Kent immediately contacted Mr. Klein, explained the situation, and secured his cooperation to make the man behind the curtain believe Jimmy had carried out his assignment. A false news story to the effect that the paintings were slashed with a razor blade appeared in the Daily Planet. A few hours later, Jimmy presented himself at the headquarters of the Guardians of America and was ushered into the leader's office. Stepping from behind his curtain, he congratulated Jimmy and introduced himself as Frank Hill. Now, with an arm around Jimmy's shoulders, Frank Hill led him to the door of an adjoining room.
I want you to meet a close associate of mine, Olsen, a man who has done a great deal for the Guardians of America. Come, he's waiting for us in the next room. After you, Olsen.
As Jimmy started across the threshold, his eyes fell on the man in the next room, and he stopped dead in his tracks. The color drained from his cheeks, and his lips turned pale. There was a horrible emptiness at the pit of his stomach as he recognized the man in the next room. His throat tight and dry. He could only gasp.
You? Well, don't be rude, Olsen. Say hello to Mr. Adolf Klein. I believe you two have met before.
Yes, we have met. It was in my art gallery, wasn't it, young man?
Make certain, Adolf, this is a serious matter.
There's no question about it. He was with Clark Kent, a Daily Planet reporter at Kent's apartment. I believe he, too, works for the newspaper.
Is that true, Olsen? Answer me.
No, it ain't true. I never seen him before.
Close the door, Adolf. Yeah. The game is over, Olsen. You played for high stakes and you lost.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, perhaps I can explain. We've been suspicious of you for some time, and we decided to test you out by giving you an assignment on your own. You were told to destroy a number of paintings on display at Mr. Klein's art gallery. But what you were not told was that Mr. Klein has been a member of my organization for many years. Now you understand why I say the game is over.
I did what you told me to do.
May I suggest that you drop the tough accent? You're a clever little actor, but you're wasting your talent on us. You did what I told you to do, did you?
Yeah.
What actually occurred, Adolf?
I received a telephone call from Clark Kent, who asked me to visit him at his apartment on a matter of great importance. When I arrived, this young man was with Kent.
That's a lie.
Next time, my hand won't be open. Go ahead, Adolf.
Kent told me the whole story. How this boy had joined a gang working for the Guardians of America in order to learn who was at the head of it. The rest you know.
Thank you, Adolf. Well, Olsen, now do you know what we're talking about? Answer me, you little rat, or I'll throttle you with my bare hand.
Let go of me.
Answer, then. Answer, or I'll kill you.
Yes.
Yeah, you admit spying on me.
Yes.
You admit trying to lead me into a trap?
Yes.
Why did you do it? Why did you do it, I said?
You know why.
Don't tell me what I know. I'm asking you.
Because you set fire to Mr. Hoffman's store. Because you almost murdered Danny O'Neill. Because you're trying to get people to hate each other by spreading your lies and your poison. That's why.
Very amusing, isn't he, Adolf?
Yes, well.
Maybe it's amusing to you, but it isn't to me.
At the moment, I should say nothing would be amusing to you, Olsen. You're on a one-way street with a dead end, and when I say dead end, I mean dead end.
You can't frighten me. I'm not afraid of your kind.
You realize, of course, that now we've caught you, we can't possibly let you go. You understand that?
Go on, keep talking.
And since we neither have the facilities nor the desire to keep you as a permanent guest, there's only one thing that we can do. Tell me, how old are you?
Don't give me that line about my being too young to die. You didn't worry about that when you told Muggs to beat up Danny O'Neill, a kid 10 years old.
Well, that was an unfortunate mistake.
Oh, sure. The knife in Rabbi Stone's stomach was an unfortunate mistake, too, wasn't it? And it would have been an unfortunate mistake if Mr. White's car had been blown up and killed him and Dr. Leeds, the minister.
You don't approve of our efforts to keep foreigners out of America, do you? And to send those who are here back where they came from or get rid of them?
No. Because if he did that, there'd be nobody left but the Indians. Everybody knows that.
Well, we'll teach them different.
That's what Hitler and Mussolini said. They were going to teach the people, too. Do you remember what happened to them? Same thing will happen to you.
Shut up.
Don't like the idea, do you?
Shut up, I said. Shut up, or I'll...
Go ahead. Go ahead, hit me. You're safe. Got your gang around.
Well, now we'll see how brave you are, Olson. How much courage all those fine words give you. We'll lock this boy in the vacant room at the end of the hall, that up. Tonight after dark, Eric and Clark will bind and gag him, drive him to the Metropolis Bridge, and drop him into the river.
This is Collins in the composing room, Mr. White. We're still holding page 1 of the final edition open. Any orders?
No orders yet. Just stand by.
Page in the press room, Mr. White. When do we run the final?
When I tell you to. Stand by.
Well, getting impatient, aren't they?
Now, look here, Kent. This is no laughing matter. That final edition should be out on the streets by now. I've held it almost 40 minutes waiting for that story.
Well, Rome wasn't built in a day, Chief.
I'm not building Rome. I'm running a newspaper.
No.
Right now, I'm paying a press crew room overtime. When was Olson supposed to call?
The minute he got clear. It won't be long now.
Well, that's what said a half hour ago.
Relax, Chief, for heaven's sake. Any moment that telephone's going to ring and we'll have the most sensational story of the year.
You hope.
I know. Jimmy never let me down yet.
Too bad that you're letting your friend Mr. Kent down, Olson. I'm sure he's expecting to hear from you.
Well, don't lose any sleep over it.
Oh, still the bright young smart Alec, aren't you?
Yeah.
And I'm sorry we haven't had time to furnish the room and equip it with a telephone, Olson, but you'll only be in it for an hour or two.
Thanks.
You're quite welcome. I see you glancing at the window. Remember, this is the penthouse. We're 15 stories above the street. It's a long, long drop. Step inside. Oh, I won't be seeing you again before Eric and Carl take you for your last ride, so this is goodbye. Goodbye and good riddance.
As the door slams behind him and the key turns in the lock, Jimmy momentarily loses his nerve. His lower lip trembles, and he stands helplessly in the center of the bare room. What can he do? How can he possibly escape? We'll return for the tense climax of today's episode in just a moment. So keep listening.
Say, gang, when you hitch up your chair to the breakfast table in the morning, does your appetite sit up and take notice? Do you really want to eat the hearty sort of meal that helps start your day off right? Well, if it's a bowl of sunny golden toasted Kellogg's Pep you're hitching up to, most likely you can hardly wait to get started. Pep, you know, is called the Sunshine cereal. It's loaded with smooth, full wheat sunshine flavor that practically sparkles on your tongue. Crisp, too, and tender and delicate. A royal sort of breakfast dish. Yes, sir, Kellogg's Pep certainly stacks up when it comes to really keen eating. And when it comes to nutrition, too. Because Pep gives you good whole wheat nourishment plus. So, you're in solid if you polish off every single toasted crisp flake in your bowl. And say, here's another angle, gang. Nowadays, the cereal grains, like the whole wheat and Kellogg's Pep, are being sent to fellas and girls overseas. So, it's not right to waste cereal. When Mom brings Kellogg's Pep home from the grocer's, take special pains to make sure that there's no waste at your house. If you pour your own Pep, pour it carefully and eat up every bit you pour out. And say, kind of keep an eye on your younger brothers and sisters, too. That's a cinch, isn't it? Just be sure to eat all your Pep. Don't waste it.
Trapped and exposed as a spy, Jimmy Olsen has been literally sentenced to death by Frank Hill, the hate-mongering leader of the Guardians of America. While Clark Kent and Barry White are waiting in the editor's office for Jimmy's telephone call, the young reporter, becoming more desperate as the minutes go by and the first gray shadows of darkness creep over the city, is pacing his bare prison room, stopping at intervals to try the door in the vain hope that somehow it has become unlocked. But no such miracle occurs, and time moves on. Back and forth he paces, fighting off the fear and panic of utter helplessness. Suddenly he starts toward the window. Off in the distance he can hear faint music, strange music. He raises the window. He leans out. Far below, an organ man is grinding out a melody while a monkey dances at the end of a chain. Jimmy's hands dart into his pockets. In a moment, he has a scrap of paper and the stub of a pencil. Laboriously, he writes an instruction and a message.
Take this to Clark Kent, Daily Planet newspaper. He will give you $1. Mr. Kent, I am locked in a room at their headquarters, 205 Willow Road. They are going to throw me off the Metropolis Bridge as soon as it is dark. Come at once and bring help. Jim.
Again, reaching into a pocket, Jimmy finds a coin, a quarter. Wrapping it in the note, he leans out the window and drops it. Down it falls, turning and twisting like some huge weighted snowflake, while Jimmy's heart chokes up in his throat as he watches it, fearful lest the coin slip out of the paper. But it lands intact a few feet from the organ grinder. Quickly, the monkey scampers over, pounces on it, and delivers it to his master. The music stops, while the organ grinder unwraps the coin. His eyes light up when he sees the size of it. Raising his head, he nods his thanks. Then he notices the penciled writing on the scrap of paper. He studies it carefully, while high above, from the open window of the penthouse room, Jimmy watches him, every muscle in his body taut and tense.
What's he waiting for? Why doesn't he deliver it?
Will the organ grinder deliver Jimmy's message to Clark Kent in time to save the young reporter? Or is he puzzling over the writing on the paper for one very good reason? Because he cannot read English. If that is true, Jimmy has gambled again and lost. Or has he? Tomorrow's exciting episode will give us the answer, so don't miss it. Tune in, same time, same station, for the thrill-packed episode entitled The Last Ride.
And remember, for breakfast, it's Kellogg's Pep.
For excitement, the adventures of Superman.
Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Superman DC comic magazines and is brought to you Monday through Friday at the same time by Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine Cereal. Say, if you want your dog to give you the glad eye, try giving him Kellogg's Grow Pup dog food at mealtime. There's a dog food that's as good as they come. It's got a swell, meaty flavor that goes over big with dogs. And there are 3 kinds of Grow Pup. There's Grow Pup Ribbon, Grow Pup Meal, and Grow Pup Pellets. All good for your dog. Grow Pup has vitamins and minerals, helps build strong muscles and teeth and bones. Just tell that to Mother, and I'm sure she'll want your dog to feed on Kellogg's Grow Pup every day. And be sure to be with us tomorrow for the thrilling adventures of Superman. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
Want to get away from it all? We offer you Escape. Escape, designed to free you from the 4 walls of today for a half hour of high adventure. Aboard a dead ship, drifting aimlessly in the endless reaches of the Indian Ocean, while the 3 men who are your companions, unaware of your innermost thoughts, are making their own plans for the division of treasure, which, because you are a woman, can mean life or death for you all. Listen now as Escape brings you Larry Roman's unusual story, The Derelick.
I'm rich now. Good looking, too. A lot of guys have said so. 29, and that's on the square. Dark eyes, dark hair, and I've been a dancer all my life, so you can figure out for yourself how I'm built. I'm not telling you this out of conceit or anything. I just want you to know what you'd have if you had me. And you can have me, any one of you. All you gotta do is come out and get me. A couple of weeks ago, I climbed aboard the freighter Capricorn out of Singapore for Suez with a load of porcelain and 6 passengers.
Had a job waiting for me in Cairo, but I took a ship instead of a plane. 1, for the dough. 2, because I was in no hurry to start working. The honest truth was my feet were giving me fits. 4 days out in the Indian Ocean, a monsoon started up, and the Capricorn just busted to pieces on the reef. I don't know how long I floated around, hanging on to some wood, till they hauled me into a lifeboat.
All right now. Easy with her.
Gently. Do not bruise her on the side. Very good.
Clear off that canvas. Set her down.
I'm all right.
Certainly. Here. Throw this jacket round you.
I'm okay. No kidding.
The jacket.
Thanks.
And clamp your legs under the seat. Everyone all right? Everything all right here, Mr. Mike? Okay. We're just going to have to ride her out.
You all right?
Sure.
You're not sick anymore.
All done. Kind of silly, wasn't it? Like a kid.
No, not so silly. May I do something for you, my dear?
No, thanks. I'm really okay.
Keatman. Henry von Keatman's my name. It was my cargo of porcelain on the ship. I'm Mike Bowman.
Cora Moore. Hello.
This is Lou Wall, or is it Wall-Lou?
My name is Lou Wall.
Chinese, part of the crew. Well, some predicaments, huh? Others all drown, I suppose.
Or adrift like us?
No drown, I think. We were the lucky ones. Some are, some aren't. Well, spirits up, everybody. Look. We have water for a few days, so that is fine.
Sure.
Well, people do not get lost at sea these days, not with airplanes and so much ocean travel.
All right. We'll set up watches and take turns trying to catch fish.
Fish? Who can think of food now?
There's always later. You take the first watch, Keatman. Lou and I will...
Are you setting yourself up as captain, Mike?
I hadn't thought of it that way.
I want to be captain. I have always wanted to run a ship.
Well, I don't care who's captain, but someone's got to watch and someone's got to fish.
Very well. We all got jobs to do. So, who will you fish?
Hold on.
Mike will watch. I shall tend to the water, portion out the proper amounts, and Cora, my dear, you shall sit there and be womanly.
The water sits in the middle so everyone can see it. Cora helped out like everyone else.
Well, sure, Mike. Just tell me what you want.
Settled, Mr. Keatman?
Settled, Captain Bowman.
I got a long look at them. Keatman, big around the middle and chest, white, shiny face, powerful arms. Mike, middle size, not bad looking, with clear blue eyes. Kind of girl ought to have. Lou was small, good at catching fish. So there we were, 3 men and me in a tub, bobbing around the Indian Ocean, drifting. Then on the afternoon of the second day...
Oh, look it! Look it! You see!
Our ship!
Coming right for us. Mike, look at it.
I told you we'll be found. Hello! Hello!
Save your breath. It's miles off.
Oh, we rowed to it. The oars. Waloo, the oars. Mike, the oars. Quick! Come on! Forward! Forward!
It was dusk by the time we got aboard. She was a 3-masted sailing ship. All her lifeboats were gone and junk was all over her deck. Seaweed and ocean stuff, so you knew she'd been under once. An old barkentine, Mike said. A ghost ship. Her deck cabins were caved in and she stank from rot. We looked her over. Then down in the captain's quarters we saw it. First, a couple of human skeletons in a pile of junk that was once closed. Then a metal box, near the skeletons, open. and in it were bricks of greenish yellow stuff. Mike knew right off what it was.
Gold.
Gold? Impossible, it cannot be.
That's gold, all right. I've seen gold before.
Well, sure it is.
Sure it is. Oh, feel it. Hold on. 20 pounds of brick. Why, that's a fortune.
No kidding? How much?
I don't know, but a fortune, easily a great amount.
Easily. Shut the box, Keatman.
The salvage laws, it's ours.
If we bring it in.
We will.
We've got another problem,
But
Chris.
I tell you, you do not get lost at sea these days. This is 1953. You do not get lost at sea in 1953.
No. Shut the box. It won't swim off.
Derelick, who are you to tell me what to do?
Oh, stop it, you two. Squabble like a couple of chorus girls.
Oh, sorry. I apologize.
All right. Now let's check the galley. We ought to figure out a way to start a fire.
What about the skeleton?
So what about them?
You should get them overboard. I do not like to share the ship with them.
You do what you want.
You throw them overboard, Mike, if you don't mind. I wouldn't care to touch them.
Well, other things come first.
That is right. And before we do anything, don't you think we should have an understanding?
About what?
The gold.
What's there to understand? There are 4 of us. We bring it in, it's split 4 ways.
4 ways, yeah. Then I have a right. Now you go to the galley, Mike. I will stay here. I want to count the gold.
All right. Come on, Cora.
No, I'll stay down here if you don't mind. I'd like to know how much there is, too. Honest to Pete, I don't know why I said it. I wasn't thinking it. It just came out. Well, it rained that night, and we collected a lot of clean, fresh water. Next day, it was real sunny and warm. We cleaned the ship up a bit. All of a sudden, I got the feeling how funny things were. Adrift at sea on a ghost ship. But we had food, water, sun. At times, it was almost like a pleasure cruise.
Good morning.
Morning.
Sleep well?
Not too good. Of course, the place you fixed up for me was real nice, but... Well, I kept thinking about things. Cora Moore from San Diego with a jackpot. You know, you don't seem too happy about it.
First problem first.
We'll get found. Keatman's right. You don't get lost at sea these days. Ship is bound to cross it. Isn't it?
Sure.
So then we'll all be rich and happy. You still don't feel good about it.
I remember once when I was a kid. I reached for a pot in a dice game. My winnings was fair. I got the back of my hand ripped open with a knife. I never got the winnings.
I see. Counting your chickens.
That's it.
Well, everybody does that. Look at me. I was going to be a ballet dancer. I was a ballet dancer. In my mind, I mean. Pirouettes and all that. Who knew I was going to end up a fan dancer?
Well, that's not so bad.
No? Oh, well. What are you going to do with your share of the gold? I mean, if we bring it in.
Go back to Australia, get a ranch, cheap.
Sounds like work. You won't have to work. You'll have enough.
I don't mind.
Good morning.
Morning.
Hi.
Fine this morning. Where's Waloo?
Lou Wah is making breakfast.
This morning I would like fish for breakfast. Have him make fish. I feel good. I slept well. I always knew the rich slept well no matter what they tried to tell you.
Yeah.
Oh, I see the skeletons are gone, Mike.
I tossed them overside last night.
Oh, thank you, Mike.
Lou Wah found a barrel of nails. We're going to board up some cabin holes after we eat. You'll help?
Certainly.
I'll see you later, Cora.
Surly fellow. Well, you look lovely this morning, my dear. A fresh look. The sea air, yeah. You are a beautiful girl.
Sure. I'll get better looking to you the longer we're at sea.
Cora, my dear, I've been doing some calculations in regard to our wealth. If the bars weigh 20 pounds apiece, And since there are 100 of them, we have 20 by 12 by 100 by 35, the value of gold per ounce. In dollars, $840,000.
Buy a lot of meat and potatoes.
Ah, filet mignon, pheasant, pompano, almondine.
What's that?
Something very delicious. Now, suppose the bar weighs 25 pounds. $1 million.
$1 million?
If the gold is sold at Macau, where the market is free, say $50 an ounce, $1,500,000.
Oh, it keeps getting bigger.
Matter of multiplication. Multiplication is a wonderful thing. It makes everything grow.
Uh-huh.
Division, however, is not so wonderful.
What do you mean?
Well, take a large satisfactory number and divide, say, by 4. What are you left with? A small unsatisfactory number. Do you follow me?
No.
Mull it to yourself, my dear. I'm sure it will come to you.
Sure, I knew what he was getting at, but I wasn't letting on. Sometimes it pays to play dumb. Well, the day went on as usual, our ship drifting and us not seeing anything but the water and sky. And then that night, laying in my bunk, suddenly began to think of something. I don't know why, but there I was all of a sudden thinking about Keatman and those ideas of his on multiplication and division. It just jolted me out of my bed. I ran out on deck. Mike came from one way, Keatman from the other, and we met at the railing.
Lua! Lua, where are you? No need to shout more. Look.
A few feet from us, the railing was all ripped away. We knew right off. Lou Wah was overboard. We could see the fin of a great shark cut the dark water and disappear.
We will return to Escape in just a moment, but first...
You should not have leaned against the railing. The wood is rotten.
What makes you think he leaned?
The ship tossing, then? It threw him against the side?
Lou Wah was a sailor. It's a calm sea. He could keep his feet in this ocean.
I don't understand you, Mike. How else could they have gone overboard?
There are ways.
I can't imagine.
Look, do we have to stand around talking about it?
Oh, of course not, my dear. Accidents do happen. There's no point.
Keatman, you watch your step.
Oh, what could you mean by that, Mike?
Just watch your step, that's all. I don't know what happened to Lou Wah, but you just watch your step.
As you say, Captain Borman.
Come on, Corey. I'll walk you back to your cabin.
Mike walked me back. I had my chance to do some talking, to tell him about the conversation I'd had with Keatman, about multiplication and division. I should have told Mike. I know it. But somehow the words just wouldn't come out. I don't know why. Mike left me. I asked him to, and I tried to get some sleep. No luck. I kept thinking about poor Lua and also something else. I don't really know why I thought about it, but the fact is I did. Without me doing anything, I just got richer.
Cora?
Hmm?
Are you asleep? May I come in?
Well,
Just for a few moments, my dear. I want to talk to you.
All right. Just a sec. It's real late.
Oh, just a little while. The thing is, I do not get to see you enough alone. Oh, Cora.
Now, wait a minute.
Oh, it's all right. Mike is asleep. He will not hear.
Hands off, mister. That's all.
Oh, have I made a mistake? I thought you had some feelings for me.
Well, it's just that... Hey, you sure rush a girl.
Oh, I see. I'm sorry.
Why don't you go now, Keatman?
Oh, no, Henry.
Why don't you go, Henry? I feel kind of upset tonight. You know what I mean. Lua and everything?
Yeah, all right, my dear.
You're not mad?
Oh, no.
There'll be other times.
Oh, yes, of course, other times. Cora,
Hmm?
when we are safe on land and risk, we will go someplace, you and I. Italy, perhaps, or the south of France. Cora, 1.5 million divided by 3 is a large number. That should mean a lot to you.
Yeah, I have to admit. I've been thinking about it.
1.5 million divided by 2 should mean even more.
In the morning, I found Mike at the ship's bow, looking out at the sea. I remember saying to myself, he looked kind of good to me. Funny how a guy can look one way to you at one time, then at another look so very different.
Oh, hello.
What do you see?
The usual. Nothing.
Oh, it's not so bad. Still got fish and water. It's only the third day. Guys were adrift during the war for weeks. They got saved.
Sure.
They had it worse than us. Mind if I sit here with you?
No, of course not. You seen Keatman? Below, I guess, counting.
Yeah. He sure has gone off on that gold. You know, I've been thinking.
About what?
Those skeletons we found. Wonder who they are? Who they were?
A little.
You think they were part of the crew or come on later like us?
Why, it looks to me like the whole crew abandoned ship. No, I'd say those two came on later, after the ship came up from the bottom.
And they found the gold, huh? Just like us?
Uh-huh.
Wondered what happened then. Sure smells good up here. It's about the only place aboard you don't smell the ship's rot. Maybe I should have been a sailor instead of a dancer. A lot of good outdoors.
Ranching gets you outside, too.
Yeah. That Australia's just loaded down with fresh air. What about sheep, huh?
What about them?
They smell?
Sheep aren't so bad.
Maybe I ought to use my share of the gold to buy a ranch next to yours. We could be neighbors and get together to talk about hard times. All this, I mean.
Cora. Cora, I don't know. I can't quite tell whether it's because of the mess we're in or... Well, I suppose it might be different on land when we're safe, but...
What are you trying to say, Mike?
Oh, nothing. You forget it, Cora.
Sure. All right. Mike. Keatman came into my cabin last night.
He did?
I thought there was going to be trouble.
When I let Cora...
No, it's all right. The only thing is... Well, I think you better watch yourself.
What do you mean?
Well, it's what he said to me. He said him and me could split the gold in two.
Yeah.
I just thought I ought to tell you.
Thanks.
There's a knife in the galley. I don't want to suggest anything, but nobody's going to blame you if you move first. I don't know why I said it the way I said it. I didn't mean to say it that way. It sort of came out. Funny how you do things sometimes. For no real reason, I mean. Well, the third day went by, and we just kept drifting and drifting. Nothing to look at but ocean and sky. Then toward late afternoon, we saw something. Just a speck in the sky, but then it came closer and closer. A plane. One of those big 4-engine passenger jobs.
Hey! Hey, down here! Down here! Hey!
Keatman waved his shirt and screamed to beat the band. The plane saw us, dipped its wings, and then took off again. We knew it would send a ship and that we'd soon be saved. That night in the galley, we sat down for what we hoped would be our last meal on the Derelick.
Fish. Have some delicious fish.
Thank you. I don't want any more.
Cora?
I don't feel much like eating.
Water, then. Have a big drink of water.
No, I don't want any.
Watch out. You're spilling it.
Oh, who needs it anymore? I told you we'd be found. This is 1953. The ship will come to us tomorrow, I bet.
All right. And we'll celebrate tomorrow. You put the water down. We've still got tonight.
Tonight? Yeah, tonight.
Keeper sat up then, and a few minutes later left the galley. Then Mike went out, too. That's when I noticed that the galley knife wasn't there anymore. The sea got kind of choppy that night, and I was sure restless. Wind started acting up. It began to rain. It looked like a storm was building. Then I heard the scream. I ran out along the wet deck and stood outside the hold, looking down into the blackness. I couldn't see, but I knew what it was. Mike and Keatman. And only one was going to come up. Only one. Henry.
I got the knife in him before he knew what happened.
Mike?
Done. We divide by two, my love, by two as it should be.
I gotta get into my cabin. I'm getting all wet.
Oh, wait. Cora.
Yeah?
The ship will come to us today, to us, to you and me. The $1.5 million is ours.
I know, Henry.
To France? Or would you rather Italy?
Whatever you want, Henry.
Anything?
Yeah.
Oh, Cora. Cora, my love.
Oh, Cora! Cora!
I don't know why I did it. Honest to Pete, I wasn't thinking about it. I just did it all of a sudden. I gave him a shove, and he went right over the side. I could see him in water just for a second. His face whiter than ever and his eyes bugging out. And then he was gone. The storm lasted for days. 3, 4. I don't remember now. And it tossed the ship I don't know how many which ways. Then the sky cleared up. Sun got all warm again. It's been this way a couple of days now. Well, I haven't seen the rescue ship. Water's gone. Fish, too. And I'm alone. But like I say, I'm rich. I'm still good looking. Any of you can have me in gold. All you gotta do is come out and get me. But please come quick.
Under the direction of Anthony Ellis, Escape has brought you The Derelick, adapted by Larry Roman from a story by Victor Schwartz, and starring Charlotte Lawrence as Cora. Featured in the cast were Joseph Kearns as Keatman, Ben Wright as Mike, and Charlie Long as Lou Waugh. The special music for Escape is composed and conducted by Lee Stevens. Next week.
You are standing guard deep in the forests of Africa, while around you, closing in on you, are the dreaded Mau Mau, who, if you relax your guard, will kill you.
So listen next week when Escape brings you John Dehner's terrifying story, Lili and the Colonel. This coming Tuesday night, mystery fans will want to stop, listen, and thrill to Mr. and Mrs. North Looking for Trouble on CBS Radio. And to John Lund as yours truly, Johnny Dollar, probing the San Antonio matter. The Norths collide with homicide and come close to grief themselves. Johnny Dollar comes close to falling in love, closer still to trouble in San Antone. Remember, they're both this coming Tuesday night on most of these same CBS radio stations. Mr. and Mrs. North, and yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Don't miss them. This is Roy Rowan speaking. And remember, you're invited to Art Linkletter's house party every weekday on the CBS Radio Network.
Grind. Ever dream of a life of romantic adventure? Want to get away from it all? We offer you Escape.
Escape, designed to free you from the four walls of today for a half hour of high adventure.
You are standing guard deep in the forests of Africa, while around you, closing in on you, are the dreaded Mau Mau, who, if you relax your guard, will kill you.
Listen now as Escape brings you John Dehner's terrifying story, Lili and the Colonel.
I first met Colonel M.O.V. Abernathy at the Rift Valley Club, Kenya Colony, East Africa. The Rift Valley Club, being a particular club of particular people, frowned with beetling brow upon the occasional invasion of its dignity by people like myself. Unqualified, of no particular family or traditional distinctions. Possibly because I was a Sandhurst man. A lieutenant with the Lancashire Fusiliers had something to do with my invitation into the hallowed circle. At all events, I was invited, and I went.
Sandhurst, eh?
That's right, sir.
Sandhurst. I was at Sandhurst myself, 1917.
That's sir. Well.
Still turning them out the way they used to?
Not knowing how they used to turn them out, I couldn't say, sir.
Capital. At least they turn them out with humor. Only thing that's kept me alive, a sense of humor.
Yes, I can see that.
Sent down from Suez, were you?
Yes, sir. Yes,
How was old Suez? Haven't been there for 14 years.
Oh, as it always has been, I suppose. I don't imagine it would change much.
And now you are here to save us from the Mau Mau.
I'm quite sure you can save yourselves, Colonel.
Of course we could if it weren't for the bunglers and the bungling.
The second time I met Colonel Abernathy was under quite different circumstances. My patrol had been called to the farm of one James C. Curry to investigate a murder. On the way, I stopped by Colonel Abernathy's house and brought him along in case identification was needed. He knew everybody in the valley. It was difficult to identify, but on viewing the remains, the colonel decided that since the boots were of crocodile leather, and his friend had a liking for crocodile boots, the sum of the two must add up to the body of James C. Curry himself lying under the rose bush. Neither of us said a word as I drove him home.
Come in for a moment.
Oh, thank you, sir, but I really should be getting back to quarters.
Nonsense. Lancashire Fusiliers won't cease operations because their brightest officer isn't back on the dot. Anyway, you need a drink.
Well, I could use one, sir.
Good. Gambit?
Colonel of Nettie, you back, Warner?
Tell your mistress.
She have blast headache. I tell her you come back.
Headache. Always having a headache. Oh, sit down, Temple. I'll have your drink in a moment.
Oh, thank you, sir. Incidentally, while your boy is out, may I ask, sir, is he Kikuyu?
Gambit? No, he's Jalua. Think he's tried his Jalua. Here, I'm giving it to you straight. Slice through any fog.
Thank you. You're not sure he's Jalua?
Well, I'll ask him when he comes back. Now, young man, a toast to James C. Curry, as fine a man as ever breathed. Dead today at the hands of the Mau Mau.
James C. Curry.
Mrs. Abnetti say headache much better. She will come in moment.
Good. Ngambri, Lubana will have another whiskey.
Yes, Warner. I will fix it.
Oh, thank you, sir. Very good.
I tell you, Temple, that...
I beg your pardon, Colonel, but you asked...
who? Yes. Ngambri.
Warner.
What are you?
Warner?
Tribe. What tribe do you belong to?
I am Jalua.
Does the Jalua have Mau Mau? What the devil do you do that for? Don't stand there clicking like an idiot. What do you say?
Mau Mau is only Kipsi and Kikiu. I am Jalua.
Very well. Now give Mr. Temple his drink and then get out.
Yes, Warner. Drink one.
Blasted idiot.
I don't believe him.
You think he's a Kikuyu?
I do, sir. And the sooner you get rid of him, the better.
Every head boy a Mau Mau, is that it?
If I'm right and he is a Kuk, then it's quite possible that he's also Mau Mau.
And if he is Mau Mau, he'll chop my head off. Weak, sir. Weak.
It happened to Curry. It could happen to others.
You still want to save me?
I'm only here to do what I can, sir. It is my job.
Young man, what happened to Curry needn't happen to me. There are still those who know how to handle this thing, and alone if necessary. In my day, we knew how to keep the old wog in his place. Full justice, mind you, but also this.
That pistol of yours may have seen its day, sir. You know, times are changing.
Only because men have become too weak to prevent it. I'm surprised that you, a Sandhurst man, should have failed to grasp the fundamental traditions that gave strength to the empire.
What empire, sir?
What empire? Blast it, the empire.
Oh, Julian, have you seen Tabbykins? I don't know where that cat can be.
It was the Colonel's lady. She stood half in shadow in the doorway with something of a smile on her lips. An attractive woman, I thought. Perhaps 45 or 50. But when she came towards us and the light fell on her, I could see that what might have been attractive was only an illusion of powder and rouge heavily proportioned and badly applied to an aging, unhappy face.
Oh, my dear, may I introduce Mr. Charles Temple?
Oh, how do you do?
Mrs. Evans?
Please sit down.
Well, as a matter of fact, I was just leaving.
Oh, no, please. It isn't often that I have an opportunity to talk to a handsome young man. And from the outside world, too.
Oh, well,
What happened today, dear? Why did you run out so quickly? Julian never tells me anything. I'm always in the dark.
Well, I'm afraid that I'm responsible today, Mrs. Abernathy. I needed his help.
Help?
Mr. Temple will tell you. I'm off to bed. Good night.
Good night, sir, and please think over what I said. Get rid of your boy.
Young fellow, I like you. But as for your advice, I shall handle my affairs my way. Good night.
Are you a difficult man, Mr. Temple?
I beg your pardon.
I mean, I hope you're not like Julian. You know, bouncing about and exploding.
Oh, I don't suppose I am. Quite.
I'd be disappointed if you were. And what was it Julian said you'd tell me?
One of your neighbors was killed today.
Killed? Who?
James Curry.
Jim Curry. Jim Curry? Who'd want to kill Jim Curry? Why? Why?
Mrs. Abernathy, please.
Oh, no. No, I'm quite all right. How did it happen?
Mau.
Mama. There must be a way out. There must be a way out.
Sure.
There must be a way
get
out.
Something.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Here, drink this.
Thank you. Better. Oh, that's better.
Yes. Well, I hate to, but I must go now, Mrs. Abernathy.
Oh, please don't. Sit beside me.
Let me call the colonel. He can live with you.
But he can't help me.
More than I can, I'm sure. Now, please, will you let me... It lay broken at our feet. A cat strung up by the neck to a willow branch. Mrs. Abernathy's cat. And outside, somewhere in the dark, beyond the shattered window, were those who had done this thing. It was the Mau. I heard the colonel behind me as I ran out of the door. The moon was huge in the sky. It was shining down with a blue-white light, and the beauty of the clearing became suddenly terrifying because of what we knew was lying hidden in the dark trees.
Probably miles away by now.
Yes, I'm afraid so. Wait.
What?
Shot him. Come on.
No.
Give me a hand. Hey, you recognize him?
Never seen this one before.
Got him in the stomach. Should get him to a hospital right away. He's a big devil. Take him under the shoulder, will you? We'll carry him to the car. I took him to the nearest clinic at Naivasha. All night he hovered between life and death. All night I questioned him vainly, and much of the next day. And then, toward the end, I asked him if he knew he was dying. He rolled his head toward me, and the look in his eyes showed me that he knew he was. It was then that all my questions were answered. Name? Matemba. Tribe? Kikuyu. Mau? Yes. Family? One brother. And this brother was Colonel Abernathy's head boy, Ngumwe. Colonel Abernathy! Colonel Abernathy!
Who's there?
It's Temple.
Oh, thank heaven it's you. Come in. I'm all alone.
Where is the Colonel and Ngumwe?
They've been gone all day. They left me alone. I've never been so terrified in my life.
Will you be back soon?
My Tadikins and the shooting. Oh, yes, they'll be back soon.
I shall wait for him then.
He gave me a pistol and said I must carry it with me until he comes back.
He's wise.
I hate guns. They're for killing. Oh, do sit down, Mr. Temple. I must look a fright. No makeup. And this old gown. You must think I look a fright.
Oh, not at all. You look very well indeed.
Thank you, kind sir, she said. May I make you a drink?
Oh, no, thank you, Mrs. Abernathy.
I think I shall have one. If I don't look out, I shall become a drunkard. A solitary drunkard.
Oh, I'm sure you're much too sensible for that.
Julian doesn't think I'm sensible. He called me silly. That'll make me feel much better. You're awfully nice. You're not like the other men. You seem very kind.
Oh, well, I'm not really. No, quite the opposite. I beat children the second Tuesday of every month.
I gather you're married then? Somebody in England?
No, I'm not married. Mrs. Abernethy, I have something to tell you. I thought of waiting for the Colonel, but since you should know about it too...
If it's anything unpleasant, I won't hear it.
It concerns you very directly. You should listen.
No. We shall talk of everything, but not about Kenya or Africa and colonels and poor unhappy black people and everything.
Very well. I'll wait for the Colonel.
Oh, now you've been wounded. The handsome soldier has been wounded on the battlefield of the sexes. Here, drink from my glass. Here.
Hmm?
Oh, now, just a sip.
All right, then. Just a sip.
There. Jim Curry thought I was attractive. Am I attractive, Charles?
Yes. Yes, of course.
I mean, to you.
Well, after all, you are a married woman. And, well, you know...
No. Sit quietly and listen. If I told you that you're the handsomest man I know, and if I told you that I was in love with you...
Mrs. Abernathy...
Would you take me away with you?
Please.
Would you put me in your pocket and take me?
Of course. Right in my pocket.
No. I don't feel very well. I think I shall lie down.
Well... Oh, Temple. Oh, sorry I couldn't be here when you came. Where's Lili?
She's not well, sir. I think last night was a bit too much for her. She's resting.
Well, tell me. What happened to the beggar you shot?
Nan died this afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
Incidentally, I was right about Ngumbe.
How do you mean?
We questioned the native all night. And just before he died, he confessed that he belonged to the Mau.
Well, what has that to do with Ngumbe?
They're brothers.
And he is a Kikuyu after all.
Yes, sir. Get rid of him. But quietly. We don't want to aggravate the situation.
Dying devil. Don't worry. I know what to do.
One more thing. I want you to place a light in your front windows.
Oh? What for?
Well, we shall be patrolling the valley tonight, and we'll have a clear view of your home most of the time. Should anything happen, you turn out the light. We'll know then that you're in trouble, and we'll be along in a jiffy.
Right you are.
Yes. Well, I must be off now, sir. Good night, Colonel. And please be careful with Ngumbe.
Goodbye, Temple.
Now, I must piece together the remainder of the story from details related to me by Ngumbe himself. I thought of it many times, and although Ngumbe was punished for what he did, I cannot in good conscience hold him totally responsible for what went wrong.
Ngumbe!
Yes, Wana.
Come here.
Wana?
Ngumbe, you're a liar.
Wana? What do you mean?
You know very well what I mean. There was a man shot here last night, and he was your brother.
No. My brother on the reserve.
He died this morning, and he said he was your brother.
My brother died?
Moreover, you belong to the Kikuyu tribe.
No. Jalo.
You will die to my face, you dog.
No. Maybe some Kikuyu. But I could have both.
I do not tolerate lying by anyone.
Well, no, please.
You shall be punished for this. I hope you can at least stand up to your medicine.
Medicine?
Put your hands to your side. To your side, I said. Stand straight. That will teach you to lie. Now, get your things together and get out. I shall pay you when you leave. I said go.
What? If you hit me with hands closed, it's good. Then I am a man, too. But you hit me with open hands. That makes me not a man.
Get out! And tell your Mau dogs that if they want the same medicine to come to me, and I'll get it to them. Get out. Dogs. All treacherous lot, a whole lot of them. Shoot the whole lot that we can do to them.
What are you doing, Julian?
You startled me. I'm moving this lamp over to the window.
What for? What's the lamp for?
Temple wants it to remain on all night.
Oh, such a lovely young man.
Will you listen to what I'm telling you?
Mr. Temple wants it to remain on all night, I heard. Why?
If for any reason you need Mr. Temple's help, you're to turn it off. He'll see it and come to you at once.
How nice. Turn it off and he'll come to me at once. Did he really say that?
Yes. Now, another thing. I've dismissed Ngumbe.
I know. I was watching through the door.
Well?
I saw you strike him. Bravely. Colonel.
Don't say it like that. The only way to make him understand is the only way they understand who's master. There's too much mollycoddling with these people.
Is there?
Oh, no matter. Where's your pistol?
I don't know. I don't care.
Oh, in the name of heaven. I told you to carry it with you at all times. Can't you understand it's for your own good? Here. Take mine. I expect you to keep it with you all the time. Do you understand?
I won't have it, Julian.
It's for your safety, Lili.
I don't want it. It's hateful. Everything here is hateful.
Lili?
I'm leaving. I'm going away. Far away. From this house. From Kenya. From you.
I've been drinking.
Yes, I have. And I'll have some more.
Stop it, Lili.
Give me that bottle.
Sorry?
Sorry. You're sorry. You don't know what it is to be sorry. I've been sorry for 25 years. I'm sick. I'm sick for living with you. The way you stand. The way you walk. Parade grounds. Always on parade. That's right. Run away. Go on. You never talk to me. You never did. You never gave me anything. Anything kind. Anything nice. Tell me I want it now because I don't want it. You hear me? Go on. Run away. Go on. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care anymore. I'm going. I'm going right now. You never care. Oh, you're afraid. You never care.
Evening, Juana.
Who's there? Who's there? You hear me? Blast you, do you hear me?
Blast you, do you hear me?
Where are you? Ngumbe? Is that you?
Is that me?
I'm armed. Come closer and I'll shoot. I can see all of you. I can see you.
I can see you better. You're not armed. Look, you forgot pistol.
Ngumbe, listen to me. I forbid you to do this, do you hear? Stand out in the open where I can see you. You're a coward, Ingombe. I don't deal with cowards. If you have grievances, we shall talk them over as men. You hear me?
The day you hit me, you make me not a man.
I struck you, you deserved it. Now, stand out in the open where I can see you. Be a man, bastard. Ingombe! Ingombe! I say, come out!
Julian? Julian, I know you're out there. I mean what I say. I'm going away. Julian? Oh, very well. Don't answer me then. But you're a fool. You could have kept me. If you were kind. I only wanted kindness. Mr. Temple is kind. Oh, how stupid of me. The lights. Julian said he'd come to me if I turned off the lights. Now he'll come to me. Charles Temple? Is that you? Oh, you must have been waiting just outside. It is you. It is. I can see you. Oh, you've come for me. Did you come to take me away in your pocket? Go away. What? No. No. No.
When I arrived with the patrol, the house was dark. My men found the colonel lying dead in a thorn bush. I found the colonel's lady, poor unhappy woman, at the screen door to the veranda. There was a strong smell of whiskey about. I turned my head away.
Under the direction of Anthony Ellis, Escape has brought you Lili and the Colonel by John Boehner, starring Ben Wright as Charles Temple, Paula Winslow as Lili, and Ramsey Hill as the Colonel, with Dave Young and Lou Krugman. The special music for Escape is composed and conducted by Lee Stevens. Next week. You are on a paradise island, living in happiness and freedom. While the woman who loathes you for what you are is planning to take away your freedom and forever put an end to your happy life. So listen next week when Escape brings you Somerset Maugham's unusual story, Vessel of Wrath. The Lux Radio Theater and Suspense are putting on two of their top shows of the season. Suspense presents William Shakespeare's Othello with Richard Widmark as the star. And Lux Radio Theater brings you Wait Till the Sun Shines Nellie with David Wayne and Gene Peters. Remember, that's on Monday night, Suspense and the Lux Radio Theater on most of these same CBS radio stations. This is Roy Rowan speaking. And remember, America now wakes up to 3 million clock radios and listens most to the CBS Radio Network. brings you Wait Till the Sun Shines Nellie with David Wayne and Gene Peters. Remember, that's on Monday night, Suspense and the Lux Radio Theater on most of these same CBS radio stations. This is Roy Rowan speaking. And remember, America now wakes up to 3 million clock radios and listens most to the CBS Radio Network. This is CBS Radio Boston, WEEI. Most oil companies recommend and sell an upper lube at extra cost. Jenny gives you upper cylinder lubrication free of extra cost. Top cylinder lubricant, a patented gasoline improver, is blended in every gallon of Jenny gasoline. You save up to 5 cents a gallon over purchasing packages of upper lube separately. The time is 10 o'clock. Stay tuned for the Quiz Kid.
Wheat checks, rice checks, and good hot roastin' present Space Patrol! High adventure in the wild, vast reaches of space. Missions of daring in the name of interplanetary justice. Travel into the future with Buzz Corey, Commander-in-Chief of the Space Patrol! In today's transcribed Space Patrol adventure, Buzz and Happy are bound securely in a robot ship headed toward Terra and controlled by Prince Baccarati from his castle on Planet X.
We can't move, sir. Even without the paralyzer ray, the straps could hold us. Keep struggling, Happy.
Lunar Defense Squadron 12 Space Patrol, a private cruiser, NPC-307, Neptune Registry. Acknowledge.
He's calling this ship.
We have information that Prince Baccarati is aboard. Surrender immediately.
If I can only get loose to reach that spacer-phone.
Major Robertson to Baccarati. Acknowledge or we'll fire.
Oh, if we could only let him know that we're aboard. He's fighting half. Hey, they're firing at us.
We'll return in just a moment with today's exciting Space Patrol adventure, Escape from Planet X. All right, step right up, test your strength, test your swing, ring the bell, and win a prize. Hi, gang, this is Captain Dick Tufeld.
And Space Patroller Bill O'Connell.
We're having a whale of a time today at the Terra State Fair. My pal here says he's going to ring that bell and win the prize.
You bet I am, Captain Tufeld.
All right, there he goes. He's raising the mallet over his head. Up it goes. Down it comes. Man, oh man, just listen to that bell ring. What power and strength. Hey, Space Patroller, how'd you get all that get up and go?
Supercharged, that's me. I had my bite-sized checks today.
Now, Space Patrollers, how about you? Did you start off this morning with a big bowl full of rice checks or wheat checks? Those super cereals that help to supercharge you? Bite-sized wheat checks. Rich, hearty, shredded wheat. Chock full of flavor, minerals, and energy vitamins. Yes, and no other cereal, flaked or pot, contains so much nourishment in such concentrated bite-sized form. That's why Commander Corey made rice checks and wheat checks official cereals of the Space Patrol. So, gang, tomorrow morning and every morning, be a real Space Patroller. Power up with an energy-packed bowl full of rice checks and wheat checks. And now, today's Space Patrol adventure, Escape from Planet X. The power-mad Prince Baccarati is now in the hands of Commander Corey. The man who sought to overthrow the United Planet is a captive on the remote Planet X, in the very prison camp where he had forced 130 abducted men into slave labor in the Arctite mines. As Cadet Happy assists Space Patrol officers preparing to evacuate Baccarati's former captives to their home planet, Commander Corey questions the self-styled prince in the labor camp office shack.
You might as well tell the truth, Baccarati. How many United Planet citizens are you holding in other parts of Planet X?
surely, Commander. You know how many men and women are missing from the solar system?
Yes, but I want to know how many are on this planet right now. I want them all released.
Look, Corey, you have only 2 spaceships here. In less than an hour, Malengo will have alerted a squadron of my ships at the castle. They can easily prevent you from blasting off.
Your men aren't going to risk destroying you. And Malengo knows that you're in custody.
Remember, my forces are still in control at Penatech. You and your men will never leave here unless you release me.
The only thing delaying our blast off is a last-minute search for those 2 men who escaped from your prison camp just before our ships arrived. The minute they're rescued, I'm giving the order to blast off, and you're coming with us.
And they won't be found so easily, sir. A lot could happen to them in the Valley of Dread.
Whether we find them dead or alive, they'll still be witnesses against you.
Excuse me, Commander.
Yes, Hop, what is it?
Those 2 men who escaped have been found, sir.
Are they all right?
It's pretty fair, sir. They recognized our space patrol ships and came back to camp under their own power.
Good. And that accounts for all of Baccarati's captives, all 130 of them.
Yes, sir, except that the last tally shows 131.
Oh, that's one more than we're supposed to have.
Space Sergeant Deckins is sure the count is correct, sir.
Well, I'll check on it later. How's the evacuation proceeding?
Well, very good, sir. Most of the sick men are aboard ship number 1, and Baccarati's guards are locked up in number 2.
I'll order a complete search of the camp to see that none of Baccarati's men are hiding. And we'll put Baccarati aboard and blast off the Terra. Meanwhile, we'll just lock His Highness in this room so he won't be disturbed.
Both ships are loaded, Commander.
Oh, fine, Happy. We can blast off as soon as we put Baccarati aboard.
I'll sure be glad to get off this planet. It's ugly enough ordinarily, but look at those clouds.
Storm is moving in from the east. Well, we'll be gone in 5 minutes. When we get Baccarati on Terra, we can give him a brainograph test. We might find a weak point in his defenses at the castle. And at the same time, how many prisoners he has in Planet X.
Well, a couple of the older men don't agree with that last tally, sir. They said they privately kept tab on their fellow prisoners, and, there were just 130.
Sergeant Deckins is very reliable. If he counted 131, there must be 100. Happy, come on, hurry.
Oh, what is it, sir?
Get to the office building quickly. It just occurred to me where that extra man came from.
Commander, look.
I was afraid of that. The door's been forced open.
Rockets, Baccarati's gone. Now, how did he get out of that room?
Look at the lock. It was smashed from this side.
Yeah, but who...
That extra man. One of Baccarati's guards managed to slip in with the evacuees.
He must be somewhere in the camp. If we hurry, we can catch him.
Into the yard, quickly.
There's Baccarati's atmosphere ship. Maybe they headed for that.
I don't think so. He knows it's the first place we've left. We'll never be able to blast off with our ships here.
Then they must be outside the camp, heading toward the mountains. With a dozen men from our ships, we could overtake them.
Well, the important thing right now is to get these ships off Planet X before Baccarati's outlaws show up.
I hate to let him go when we finally had our hands on him.
I know how you feel, Happy, but the ships are in real danger now. Chances are Baccarati had the foresight to grab a miniature spacer plane when he got loose. He can tip off Malengo that he's no longer a prisoner.
Yeah, and the whole squadron can tear after our ships without worrying about hurting Baccarati.
I'm giving the order for our ship to blast off immediately. You and I'll stay here in Planet X and search for Baccarati.
A few moments later, 2 men scramble through the thick brush on the steep side of the mountain near the prison camp. One of the men is in the ragged, faded red uniform of the prison workers. The other is Prince Baccarati, his gaudy tunic torn by the brambles.
All right. Let's stop.
Suits me. I'm winded.
We'll rest a minute while I contact Malengo. Then we'll move on. Send me that miniature spacer plane.
Yes, Your Highness.
Oh, by the way, it was very clever of your touch, mingling with the prisoners in the hospital tent. You will be rewarded when we return to the castle.
Thank you, Your Highness. What's that?
That was one of Corey's ship blasting off. I suppose he decided not to risk losing both ships by keeping them here while he looked for me.
Yeah. Another one.
I might have known it.
Known what?
That Corey would think of the safety of his man. Yes, and perhaps of his own safety, too. He knows he couldn't fight off my ship, so he blasted off.
Yes, but he'll be back.
We'll be ready for him when he returns. We'll have that warning tower back in operation, and if a space patrol ship comes within 1,000,000 deals of this planet, we'll blast it to atoms.
Your Highness, how are your men going to find us in this storm?
Before we run, we can go back to the prison camp. My atmosphere ship is there.
Yes, but Corey probably put it out of commission before he blasted off.
Probably. But at least we'll be out of this storm. Come on, old top. Let's head down the mountain.
As the storm builds in violence, Buzz and Happy stand in the darkened office shack, looking out the window toward Baccarati's small, sleek atmosphere ship. An occasional flash of lightning brings every inch of the prison yard into full brilliance.
The ship's got away all right. Well, they must have, Happy. There's no way Malengo could have detected them on this side of the planet. All right, let's go. Run for the ship. Yes, sir.
Wow, what a blast. It's a regular hurricane. Keep your head down. Buck the wind. Up the ladder into the ship. Close it, Happy.
There's the light switch. Oh, I got it. Only for a minute there, I thought the wind was going to blow me clear out of the stockade. Planet X. Even the weather's terrible. Yeah, it's a break for us. We can circle over this whole area without being seen or heard. And when Baccarati signals to her ship, we'll know where he is. Can we fight off a whole fleet of Baccarati ships in this little atmosphere job? We won't have to, Hank. Chances are only one of the ships will land to pick up Baccarati. They won't be expecting any company. Yeah, and the fact that this is Baccarati's own ship is going to throw them off guard when they do see it. We're going to have to work fast and hope that our luck goes out. All right, Hank, let's get this ship airborne. Yes, sir.
Stay right where you are, gentlemen. I got a flux gun on you. Get your hands up, Corey. Orca, take their weapons.
Yes, Your Highness. Oh, Baccarati and the missing guard.
Get the guard hat. Corey! I warned you. I got Corey, Orca. Break away from the cadet. Sure. Oh.
That sure sent him spinning, Your Highness.
Drag them back aft and lug them out. I'll notify Malengo to prepare a cell for them in the dungeon of my castle.
We'll return to Space Patrol in just a moment. This is Dick Trufeld speaking from Edwards Air Force Base, Muroc, California. I've got an interesting story for you this morning about one of the most unusual-looking planes in the sky today, the XS-92A, designed by Convair Aircraft, San Diego. Now, in just a second, I'm going to introduce you to the Air Force test pilot on that plane, Major Chuck Yeager, the first man to fly faster than the speed of sound. He's standing beside me right now. But first, I'd like to tell you a few things about the XS-92A. It looks exactly like a triangle. It's often called the flying triangle. Wings are struck back at a severe angle, 60 degrees. Now, top speed of this Air Force interceptor is about 700 miles an hour. Surface ceiling is over 45,000 feet. You know, it takes some doing to test fly a ship like that. You need energy and plenty of it. And to face the risk involved, you need steady nerves. Now let's hear what a real test pilot has to say about it. Meet Chuck Yeager.
Let me tell you what it takes to be a test pilot. To start with, I have to be in good condition. That means get plenty of rest, plenty of exercise, good food at every meal. For breakfast, I like a cereal that really tastes good and has plenty of energy.
You like Rice Chex and Wheat Chex, eh, Chuck? Well, no other cereal, puffed or flaked, contains so much nourishment in such concentrated bite-sized form. So, gang, do as famous test pilots do. Pick your cereal for flavor and energy. Today, get Rice Chex and Wheat Chex. And now back to Escape from Planet X. Believing that Prince Baccarati was hiding in the mountains near his slave labor camp, Commander Corey and Cadet Happy boarded Baccarati's atmosphere ship. Buzz had counted on the violent storm raging in this part of Planet X to conceal the ship and enable them to recapture the crafty prince. But Baccarati and his guards had returned to the camp, thinking Buzz had left with the evacuees in the Space Patrol ship. Just as Buzz and Happy were about to blast off, Baccarati and his guards stepped out and overpowered the two Space Patrolmen with a flux gun. Right now, Buzz and Happy are in a cell in the dungeon of Baccarati's castle on the opposite side of Planet X. The prince taunts them through the bars.
Ah, the great Commander Corey. Oh, I hate to tear myself away.
Don't let us detain you, Baccarati.
Oh, you're very kind. Perhaps you'd like to know where I am going. I am going to Terra. I'll go in ordinary clothes as a businessman from Neptune. I'll arrive in a private cruiser with a Neptune registry.
Aren't you afraid your noble bearing will give you away?
Not at all, Commander. The Space Patrol is certain that I'm here on planet X, trying to avoid being captured. They will be making plans to sneak back here and get you off the planet. The last thing they would suspect is that Prince Baccarati would dare to show up in the capital of the United Planets.
You may have a point.
Yeah. And I have agents on the other side. All the time they're working on my plans to overthrow the government, preparing the way for my return to the solar system as a supreme ruler.
Oh?
You didn't know that, did you? About my agents.
I suspected it.
I think this is the time to confer with them and to make arrangements for certain materials and supplies to be brought here to Planet X. I see that you figure out the captured district.
What makes you so sure you won't?
Because you are here in my castle as a hostage. In case I am caught, your safety will be the terms of my release. Well, goodbye, Commander. Agents, I tell you.
And the Space Patrol hasn't the faintest idea who they are.
Oh, can Baccarati get away with it? Go to Terra?
He's bold enough. I didn't expect it.
And here we are, locked up in this dungeon.
Yeah.
Yes, sir?
Something shiny out there in the cloud. See it through the bar?
Oh, this one. Oh, it's like a key.
Thought I heard him tell the pink if I thought the other was the one.
But if we could reach that key.
Then no one's watching us.
Just gotta reach. God, it might as well be back on Baccarati's belt.
Wait a minute. Take off your belt, quickly.
Yes, sir.
Put the buckle out there toward the key. Maybe you could hook it and drag it over to the door.
All right, sir. Here it goes.
Be careful. Don't knock it farther away.
Over the key, sir.
Pull it slow.
It's coming. Yeah. Now I can get it with my hand. Here you are, sir.
Let's hope it's the right key. I can reach around to the lock. It's hard to turn. You can't get any leverage. Yeah, that did it.
We're free.
We're still in the castle. Our best bet is to try to locate a space patrol and tip off the space patrol that Baccarati's on his way. Come on. Cautiously, Buzz and Happy make their way down the dungeon corridor. Two guards, joking together at a turn in the passage, fail to notice the two space patrolmen as they creep up the stairs to the next level. Carefully, Buzz tries door after door. Then, finally, he finds what he's searching for. A storeroom full of electronics equipment. Swiftly, with Happy's aid, the commander adjusts the dials of a spaceophone to the secret Space Patrol frequency and turns on the transmitter. This set reaches as far as the space station outside the Pluto orbit within luck. Emergency. Commander Corey on Planet X, calling all Space Patrol units. Corey to all Space Patrol units. Emergency.
Space Station 3, Pluto orbit, Commander Corey. Your signal's very weak, Commander.
Now listen carefully. I can't repeat this message. Prince Baccarati is preparing to fly to Terra in a private space cruiser of Neptune Registry. He will pose as a legitimate businessman. Alert all units to intercept him outside the perimeter of his Planet X defenses. Take him alive if possible. Hurry up.
I shouldn't have any trouble picking up Baccarati.
No, there won't be any other ships coming from the direction of Planet X. Now, half our next problem is to get back to our cell without being seen.
Back to the cell?
Yeah. Baccarati mustn't know that we've had a chance to tip off the space patrol. Easy now, you're going to find. We carefully retrace their steps, and at last reach the dungeon level under the castle. A moment later, they're in the cell with the door locked. We'll hide the key somewhere in the cell, in case we need to use it again.
Yes, sir.
I made it just in time. Somebody's coming. They're looking for his car.
I got good news for you, gentlemen. I know. You got a toothache. That was unkind, Cadet. You should be grateful to me. Come on, you're leaving Planet X.
We are? Where are you taking us?
I am putting you in a robot ship and sending you toward Terra.
Well, at last you're showing some sense, Baccarati.
Yes, I know. Oh, incidentally, you can keep that key you found on the floor. As you see, I have a duplicate.
Key?
Yes. The key with which you unlocked your cell. By the way, I overheard your conversation on the Space Patrol. You found the equipment sooner than I expected.
So you planted the key there, dropped it on purpose.
That's right. Just far enough out of reach to look accidental, but near enough so that you would use your famous ingenuity and recover it.
I don't get it. So why would you want us to tip off the Space Patrol about your trip to Terra?
Because Baccarati had no intention of going to Terra.
That's right, Commander. It's too bad you didn't figure that out sooner. And the Space Patrol challenges a certain private cruiser with Neptune registry and receives no answer. They will start firing on it. You will be helpless, unable to call up your men. And in their eagerness to get Prince Baccarati, the Space Patrol will destroy their own commander-in-chief.
A few moments later, Buzz and Happy are strapped securely in the control cabin of the robot space cruiser. As an added precaution, Prince Baccarati gives them each a blast with a paralyzer ray, then returns to the tower of his castle to regulate the remote control equipment of the robot ship.
Can you talk?
That can't move.
Even without that paralyzer ray, these straps would hold us. I'm sure isn't taking any chances.
Here we go. Blasting the ship off by remote control from the castle.
Are you comfortable, gentlemen? Oh, don't bother to answer because I can't hear you. It's fortunate. I don't think your remarks would be complimentary.
He's right, Mr. Rat.
I'll give you something to think about, Commander, on your final journey. Shortly after your space patrol men blast to the pit, there will be another tragedy in another part of space.
What are you talking about, Frank?
The space patrol base on planet Neptune will be destroyed by another robot ship, loaded with high explosives.
You wouldn't do that.
The robot will appear to be an innocent supply ship, with you out of place, Commander. And the Neptune base destroyed, I'll have taken the first major step in my plan to rule the solar system. Goodbye, Commander. On we are.
Commander, you can't be serious.
I'm afraid he is.
Yeah, but what good would it do him to wipe out the Neptune base?
Baccarati's no ordinary criminal, Hap. Remember, Neptune is Baccarati's home planet, the one his family ruled for centuries.
Yeah, till the people booted them out and joined the United Planet.
And Baccarati's warped mind, Neptune is his personal property. Destroying our space patrol installation there would delight his ego.
Yeah, but it would make everybody in the United Planet so mad they'd insist on wiping out Baccarati's Planet X.
With his defenses, that's impossible at present. You have the people of 10 planets full of helpless fear and panic. That's Baccarati's greatest weapon. Fear would force millions of people to surrender to save their lives and their homes.
There's nothing we can do about it. Can't even move. Where are we now, Commander?
I can't tell from here, but we should be well outside the Planet X defenses. Warning system.
I think the paralyzer rays are beginning to wear off. I can move my fingers a little.
We'll have to do better than that, Hap.
Go to Defense Squadron 12 Space Patrol to Private Cruiser NPC 307 Neptune Registry. Acknowledge.
Who's calling this ship?
Major Robertson, commanding Squadron 12. We have information that Prince Baccarati is aboard Private Cruiser NPC 307. Now on Terra Vector from Planet X.
If I could only get to that space phone.
Keep working, Hap.
Major Robertson to Baccarati. Acknowledge or we'll fire.
Any luck, Hap?
Oh, no.
You've got to get loose.
See, he's firing at us.
We placed that missile across your nose to show we mean business, Baccarati. We know you're aboard because Commander Corey told us. You have 10 seconds to surrender or the next missile will hit you amidship.
I wish Major Robertson wouldn't be so conscientious. Just this once.
If he hits us, he may never know he got us instead of Baccarati. Keep straining on those straps, Happy.
Yes, sir.
5 seconds, Baccarati.
5 seconds. Commander, you did it.
No, Baccarati didn't shut off his transmitter. Major Robertson, hold your fire.
You surrendering, Baccarati?
Robbie, this is Commander Corey. Baccarati's not aboard. He's on Planet X.
Man, Sure is. I was about... Attention, all units. Stand by for further orders.
Robbie, we've got to work fast. Order one of your ships to join airlocks with this robot.
Yes, sir.
After Happy and I are clear of this ship, destroy it. I want Baccarati to think his plan succeeded.
Right, sir.
When this ship is destroyed, return to your base. I'll take over the rest of your ship and proceed to the Neptune orbit. Hurry out.
Meantime, back in the tower of his castle on Planet X, Prince Baccarati turns to the guard, Orcut, and smirks with satisfaction.
Did you see that, Orcut? Did you see what happened to those instruments?
I don't know much about this kind of thing, Your Highness. There's remote controls and viewscope screen.
The instruments throttled and returned to zero. That means the robot ship is destroyed. And with it, Commander Corey.
And the Space Patrol got it.
Yes, just as I planned. Now, let's do something. This controls the other robot.
When are you going to blow up the Neptune base with?
Exactly. Watch the tiny dot on the screen. That's the ship approaching Neptune. In a few minutes, the Neptune base will be sighted.
I picked up something in the viewscope screen, sir.
Supply ship?
I think so, sir. Yeah, that's what it is, all right.
Second course.
Yes, sir.
Gotta be sure it's the right one.
Heading straight to the Neptune base, sir.
From what direction?
Tracing it back, it came from 34 degrees off Pluto, which would indicate it came from Planet X.
And all regular ships in order to avoid this sector. So that's the one we're after.
It's on a collision course, sir, and increasing acceleration.
Stand by to fire cosmic missiles.
Standing by, sir.
Put on automatic target selector.
It's closing in on zero, sir. Number one missile fired, sir. Now, if Baccarati doesn't have any trick device to throw off our guided missile...
We'll know in a couple of seconds.
Wow, we got it.
Think what would have happened if that robot had hit Neptune.
The base would have been wiped clear off the planet. As it is, I'll bet it'll rain fragments for a week.
Fortunately, none of them will be big enough to do any damage.
Boy, this is going to be a big disappointment to Prince Baccarati.
Yes. Well, just the way to get his mind off this setback.
How, sir?
We'll give him something new to worry about. Right away. A preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol adventure in just a moment. Hi, Space Patrollers. It's football time on the planet Terra. The Terra High Terrors versus the Jumpin' Jupiters. And today the Terrors are really running up the yardage. There they go, over the goal line again. Another touchdown for the Terrors. Yes, sir, they're supercharged all the way. They had their bite-sized checks today. Now, gang, how about you? If you want to be able to block and tackle and kick like a football hero, you have to get on the ball and stay on the ball every day. That means you need a power-packed, bite-sized Chex breakfast every morning. A big bowl full of rich, crisp, terrific-tasting rice Chex or wheat Chex. Those super cereals that help to supercharge you. Both have that modern bite-sized design for super easy eating, and both make swell between-meal snacks, because both taste just as good right out of the box. So, Space Patrollers, to run up lots of yardage on the gridiron, to be the big star of your team, start right in tomorrow. Just have yourself a power breakfast with rice Chex or wheat Chex. No other cereal, flaked or puffed, gives you so much nourishment in such concentrated bite-sized form. So, power up for those Space Patrol cereals, rice Chex, wheat Chex. And now, a preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol adventure. Buzz and Happy are at the Saturn City spaceport, following a man they believe to be a cousin of Prince Baccarati.
Vincent, all right, sir. In the back, he looks just like Baccarati.
Keep in the shadow of this freight-loading platform, Happy. Come on, let's close in. Just a minute, Benson.
Yes?
Step over here into the light.
Anything to oblige, Corey.
Commander, it's Prince Baccarati.
Get him, Happy.
All right, Malenko, use your ray gun.
Look out, Hap! Look out, Commander!
That does it, Malenko. Get them aboard the ship, and we'll give them a one-way trip to Planet X.
Be sure to join us next week for the thrilling story, The Spies from Planet X, when Wheat Chex, Rice Chex, and Good Hot Wilson again present Space Patrol! Space Patrol, created by Mike Moser, starring Ed Kemmer as Commander Corey, and Glenn Osborne as Cadet Happy, was written by Lou Houston, produced and directed by Larry Robertson, executive producer Mike Devery. Other players were Bela Kovach, Norman Jolly, Ken Mayer, and Stephen Robertson. Dick Tufeld speaking. Now, don't forget to tune in next Saturday and every Saturday when Wheat Chex, Rice Chex, and Good Hot Roastin' again present Space Patrol! And be sure to see another exciting Space Patrol program on your local ABC television station. Consult your local paper for time and channel. This program is broadcast to our armed forces overseas through the worldwide facilities of the Armed Forces Radio Service. Space Patrol came to you transcribed from Hollywood. This is ABC Radio Network.